What is up, everybody? WTF? Welcome to Funkatopia. I'm Mr. Christopher. This is my co-host, Jeff Page.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I hope you're prepared and ready to have a good night tonight.
Oh, my God. Yeah, tonight, this is the pre-show, by the way. The actual show will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is a mere 12 or so minutes from right now. Once Jesse comes in here, we will start the show, and we will play our normal intro broadcast, but that is our pre-show intro video and whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun because tonight we have the one and only Jesse Johnson in the house tonight. So
yes, we do.
It's not any slight of the imagination that I have been preparing for this show
all your life.
In my head since 1980, since these days.
Yeah, right.
This is
your life.
This is me and my grandmother, and I wore that pink suit. I wore that pink suit because of Jesse right there.
And you know what? You meant it too. That's the cool thing.
I meant it. I friggin' meant it.
So shout outs. Hello to everybody. I'm glad you're putting in your where you're from. Sue Bowling from Southern Cal, SoCal. We
Electric Box, Doc EC in the house. I was starting up at the top of these people that have been here for forever.
Oh yeah, some of them been like super.
Hey, and Purple Nerd Channel, I got something for you tonight. So just relax. Just wait. I'll wait. Just go. Stone Freaks with go ahead. You can read.
No, I was just getting braced, man. Stone Freak's got pizza and snacks, and you're gonna like slide some this way. That's what I'm saying.
Is it Stone Freak? I just thought it was short for Stone Frequency or something like that.
Well, I mean, it should be short for frequency, but Freak is good enough.
Freak. Yeah, I never thought about freak being short for frequency. That's good to do. Yeah, Ronald Dagley Jr. Hello, Sonia. Hello, Kimberly. You're welcome for our dedication. Yes, the dedication is for real. So this is going to be a great interview. We're going to have a lot of fun. Again, for those of you just tuning in, just jumping in, it is the pre-show. We just wanted to say hello to everybody. Listen, I know that I told you guys on Facebook, I said, ask your questions. Just go ahead and ask questions. And ask your questions, get your questions lined up, and we will make sure that we get into, we'll ask some of the questions. Y'all asked some ridiculous questions. So let me just,
I know.
Some of the questions that you guys wanted me to ask is just not, I just can't, I just,
like, nah. Hey, Sybil, let me just, go ahead.
No, I said some of the questions that you guys wanted me to ask, a lot of them were already in the list. So I want to give credit to you guys because you put the questions out there, but a lot of them were already there. But there were some unusual questions in there for sure. So I want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. And I did pull some questions, but that was it. That was as of a few hours ago. I stopped reading it. So it's all good.
And we'll see how it goes because there's going to be a lot going on. Oh, Sybil, I think it's great that you typed that. That's the only thing you typed because that's one of my favorites. I Want My Girl. That's one of my favorite songs too.
So you like my shirt?
Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging that.
That's the Prince in front of that fancy car.
Yes, fancy stuff.
Limited edition T-shirt that they had at the celebration. But for this interview, once we start, I'm probably not going to be wearing this. I'm taking it all off. I'm doing a Bert Kreischer style interview tonight is what's going to happen. And no, it's not.
Shaved chest and everything.
No, but no. This is, again, we're in the pre-show here. We're going to start the show here in about 7 minutes. But I wanted to just tell you guys that I want to apologize to you guys right out of the gate because even though I had an opportunity to speak with Jesse for a good while the other night, I feel like I got most of my fangirling out of the way. But it's kind of like one of these. This is an artist that I have been really hardcore obsessed with since since the 80s. And even to a point, and I'll just go ahead and just say this now, even to a point where there was a period of time when I was like, Prince who? I'll just be honest. I'll flat out tell you, when Jesse Johnson's Revue hit, all the way through Every Shade of Love, when before he kind of went dark for 8 years or whatever it was for the next album. But during that everything. I legit had to have everything this man ever did. And I even, as you can see behind me, I've actually reorganized my entire background. You guys may have noticed I redid all of my shelves. But let me just all right, where does it start? Does it start here? No, it doesn't start there. Hold on a second. Let's just do this. Forget this. Let's just make this happen. This. Yep, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much all that is all Jesse Johnson.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
He hasn't had this many albums, but
Right.
all is Jesse Johnson, including the piece de resistance, the pink Be Your Man.
You know what's crazy is that when that stuff started coming out, we did the same thing. We were always trying to be on stage and perform everything Jesse sang everything. It didn't matter.
I mean,
so wild.
Jesse Johnson's Revue, unopened, original, sealed.
Wow.
Still got just all of his albums, and of course I got the CDs. Nice. And all the singles and all the 12-inch singles, because he came from that camp of, hey, we're going to go ahead and make a 12-inch. We're going to make a 12-inch album of dance mix.
That's right.
And it's going to be badass.
You're going to jam for the whole time. It won't feel like it's long at all.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously this was something that him and Prince did extremely, extremely well. Mm-hmm. So it is just
let's have a party.
Let me see here. Well, we got to make sure that we got good audio here too for Jesse. Make sure that we can kind of fix this up. A lot of people want to know. I see somebody saying, "Hey, can you keep Jesse up on top so we can see him?" You're not going to be able to see him. So you're not going to be able to see him, because he's not doing video tonight. Matter of fact, I think he was going to put up a video
picture or something.
And Jesse, on the bottom there, if you click the three buttons there, the three dots next to your picture, and you go to edit audio avatar, you can put up whatever picture you want them to look at instead of video. Sorry, he's not doing video tonight. So
I'm just saying, man, it sounds to me like somebody doesn't want to see us. That's what it sounds like to me. Kind of feelings I heard a little bit, but okay.
I am.
We'll put him up top.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I am beside myself with this interview. This just really, truly is an amazing, amazing interview that we're going to be doing tonight. I'm claiming it in the name of God.
Yeah, I know.
It's fantastic. I totally agree. And as I said, I've been preparing for this interview for a very, very long time. And it's great to have him in the show. He's already in the green room. Hopefully he gets all the audio stuff. He's working on some audio things right now, but it's okay. We got like 2 more minutes, and then we're going to, you know how this works. For those who don't know how it works and you're tuning in for the first time, this is Funkatopia Live. I'm Mr. Christopher. This is Jeff Page. Don't do it again. And we are going to, you did it once.
And just so you know, as you guys, as Mr. Christopher mentioned earlier, he did pull your questions off of the post and got that. But feel free to post in the chat too. I'll be paying attention. And again, if we don't get to it, that's fine. It's probably in our list already. But if you haven't posted a question, go ahead and put some stuff out there. I'll keep an eye on it, and maybe we'll get to it and things like that too. So, we're gonna make sure this is just a fun evening.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good time, and
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. Like I really am truly ready for it. So I'm just super excited. I'm ready to get going whenever he's ready to get going. But I mean, sure he may be actually good to go. I haven't seen any new.
Yeah. I think he's ready. Well, again, we're still pre-show. What we got? 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if it's an internet issue, but is anybody else experiencing any type of? Are we coming? Are we coming through okay? I haven't seen anybody complaining about our audio or anything. So hopefully it may be not an internet connection or something like that that's kind of making some of the audio choppy. Hopefully that will not be the case. But he can alternately, obviously, switch over to mobile if he wants to switch over to mobile. Maybe that's what he's on, or switch over to just Wi-Fi or vice versa, whatever. But everybody says the audio is good over here, so hopefully, whatever issues happen, will get resolved. That's what we're looking for right now. All right. So, anyways, this is gonna be
internet stuff wherever you live. Sometimes that's gonna happen. Hopefully it'll get sorted out.
Yes,
there's a storm over here, so if I go out, nothing I can do.
It's okay. We'll figure out a way to make it work.
You will.
But anyways, this is the pre-show, and in just a minute, literally 1 minute, we're gonna pull our images down, and then we're going to start. Yeah, just 1 minute. We're going to start our intro, and then we'll come back in and we'll bring in Jesse Johnson. But we wanted to make sure that you guys were ready. So, with all that being said, Jeff, are you ready for this?
Man, I'm ready as I've been. I'm just
okay.
Jesse Johnson.
It's just what it is. What it is. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. All right, we're going to go ahead and minimize ourselves and start the show. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the end of the pre-show, and then we're going to start the real show. So give us 20 seconds. Here we go. Wait a minute. I'm not ready yet. Wait a second. Keep talking.
Yes, I just read. I was muted. How crazy is that, right? Welcome to Funkatopia. This is the actual live show. We're ready to rock it out today. I am the co-host Jeff Page. I just try to get my own ferns. And earlier you saw Mr. Christopher. Let me just say, those of you who were here during the pre-show, you saw how he had different clothes, and then when we started, all of a sudden he was in a completely different outfit. I don't know what just happened, but he changed. So it's all and then he comes back again. Ladies and gentlemen, the host, Mr. Christopher himself.
That's it. Now we're ready.
That's awesome. Should have known it was going to happen. Should have known. All right, let me just ask. That's like full clip-on mode. I don't know what that was.
No, it's not clip-on. It's not clip-on.
That was pretty quick, man. That was quick.
It's not quick enough. Oh, Jesse dropped.
Yeah, he dropped. Hilarious. You're like, hey, hold on, I'm not ready. I'll be right back. And I had my phone, my mixer on mute. So I'm like,
all right. See, this is what it took to get ready, because as you guys remember, I see Jesse's back. as you remember, this picture is from 1985,
Five,
1986.
maybe.
This is me and my grandma. This is how obsessed I was with Jesse Johnson. And Purple Nerd Channel said, I hope he's got the pink jacket. And I was like, I don't, but there's Amazon. And so, welcome one and all. Yes, I did it.
Just tell me that's not the same tie.
No, it's not the same tie. This is.
It would have been thinner, right? Because they were thin ties back then.
Yeah. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, it is an honor. It is an absolute honor and a privilege to have this gentleman on the show. Again, we've said it in the pre-show, and I'll say it again now. I have been wanting to get this gentleman on the show for many years. And again, I've been obsessed with Jesse Johnson for a long time, since the 80s. And so I've always wanted to kind of just chat about all kinds of different stories and whatnot.
Yeah.
And let me just say, it is an honor to bring on the one, the only Jesse Johnson to the stage.
Hello?
Hello. Man, does he know how to?
Do I have y'all? I got y'all phones are doing weird. They're doing weird robot things, but do I have it? Guys can hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Can't hear you.
Man.
Okay. Y'all thing on my end is very choppy.
Yeah, well, I'll try to. We'll try to speak very, very clearly so that we can make sure that you can hear us. Okay, we haven't had any audio issues on this end, but
Yeah, your audio coming to me is very like like that. So very
That's
choppy.
how he talks normally.
No, it's not.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It's not talking normal at all. But you guys can hear me fine.
We can hear you fine. We can hear you fine. All right. Well,
I can't hear y'all. So good.
Okay. Are you on a mobile phone, or are you on a like laptop or something?
I'm on a mobile phone.
Oh, okay.
Must be AT&T.
What did he say?
Must be AT&T.
Did he say I was on I'm not on AT&T. AT&T, your bill, when you're on AT&T, your bill is still in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, AT&T is brutal.
Love it. Well, I just want to go ahead and just get into it and just start, because I have. So what I'll do is I'll just do my best to ask questions.
Can I just test one thing real quick? Can I test something real quick, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick. Can you hear this? You can hear that?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
It's a little bit low, but I can hear it.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yep, we can hear you clearly. Yeah, we can hear you clear as a bell.
I know, but can you guys hear the guitar? Y'all hear the guitar, all right? Or no?
Yep. Yes, we can.
No?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
So it's not too loud. I just have to have this in my hand. Just not nervous on this stuff. So I just got this in my hand, so I'm nervous. So y'all can start, y'all.
Okay, we'll do that.
Y'all call it.
Wow.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing
you guys
great.
Are all good. And lady and gentlemen. What's everyone's names? Y'all know mine. What's everybody's name?
I'm
Chris,
Mr. Christopher,
and
this is Jeff Page. So
Jeff Page.
I told you I wasn't calling you that. I told you on the phone I wasn't calling you that.
Yeah, he said, we were talking on the phone, and he says, well, what's your stage name? And I said, well, it's Mr. Christopher. And he goes, I'm not calling you that.
I wish I could hear what you guys are saying. I can't hear anything. It's going on. It's like Charlie Brown. Whenever you guys speak. I swear it's Charlie Brown over here. I got nothing.
Can you switch your phone to, let me see. Text him and see if he can switch his phone to Wi-Fi or something. And
I'm going to send him a message now.
Okay.
If I can switch Wi-Fi, you say?
Yeah, maybe switch
Let
your
me
phone
see
to
if I
Wi-Fi
can
instead
just
of
maybe
AT&T.
if I Wi-Fi has all the bars on mine. The other one is the cell one is the one that has no bars. So should
Yeah,
I just
so
turn the cell off?
Wi-Fi would probably
Turn the
help.
cell off.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
People are emailing me. They said to switch. Shut up. People are texting me going. They said turn your phone off. Okay. If I what? Okay. Hopefully I won't lose you. But here it goes.
Should be okay. Let's
Hello.
see. Yep, I'm still
Hello.
here.
Okay. Now I hear you guys fine. It was the Wi-Fi.
Yep, perfect.
Awesome.
Nice.
Now I hear y'all perfectly now.
We can do it again.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, thank God. Woo, it's always
Yeah,
a challenge.
that would have been a long night for sure.
What
We'll
would
fix
have?
it.
It sounds good now.
Like that.
Good. Technology can be rough when it doesn't work right, for sure.
Yeah, but y'all knew what to do. You said turn off Wi-Fi and I was like, no, but it worked perfectly. That's what
Nice.
it was. It was trying to do what was that called where it changes a code, it tries to encrypt it or something, I think.
Yeah, it could be doing. Who knows
Oh.
what it could be doing?
Yeah, probably.
So, man,
We
I
are.
really honestly don't know where to start because what I will tell you is I've always wanted to know a little bit about your childhood and about, where you were, where you were raised and your parents and just kind of getting that story. I don't think I've ever really heard that story about your childhood at all. So I mean, how
My
did you
childhood, well, uh, frankly speaking, um, I'm surprised I'm, you know, surprised that I'm here. I was just switching to a headset. Do I have y'all?
Yep, still
Yes.
here.
We're still here.
Okay, I'm trying to put y'all in my ear to see if y'all can hear me. Let me
Okay.
just do this real quick, just so I can hear you better. Just see if you can hear me better if I do all of this crap. Sorry about that. I promise you guys can take me over a longer since I'm wasting your
Oh,
precious
it's
time.
not a waste. We're
Nope.
excited enough. It's just getting
Just
off
to
the
hear you,
nervous energy. So
man, just to hear you tinkering around on the
just
guitar and
finger
just
on the
chat.
guitar. Yeah, I want to pull out something here. Wait, that didn't sound right. Anyways, yeah.
Okay, I got y'all. Y'all hear me good now? You hear me fine?
Yep, can you hear us?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I hear you guys beautifully. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
sorry about that. I just wanted to put something in my ear so I could hear your questions fine. But I gotta play y'all something real quick, just for a second, because it's brand new and I don't play new shit. So hopefully y'all ain't recording. But here it goes. Guitar. Watch the guitar. Okay, that's enough of that shit.
Oh my gosh,
Let me break
that
this.
sounds
No,
fantastic.
the new records are. I guess I just sound so. I feel so stupid saying it, but the new shit is mind blowing. It's like it 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 like it scares me sometimes. Actually, it scares me because sometimes they always. I always know people to do their best thing, and then something happens to them. So that kind of that shit always runs through my mind. I swear to God, it does because I watch it happen to too many people. Like, oh my God, he's playing so incredibly right now. I remember saying that about a dear friend of mine. I was I was on the Gold Coast of Australia, and I got this message on my phone when I got back from the gig because I take no electronics to any of my shows. I leave everything in my hotel room, watch, phone, everything. If something goes down, oh well, I'm just out of luck. But I don't want any of that stuff around me. So when I got back into the room, Prince, this girl that worked with Prince, she's out of London, really beautiful girl. I think she's Asian, Indian, or possibly, but don't know. But anyway, she left me a really gorgeous message, all the stuff that Prince was saying, and And I was supposed to. He was like saying it. Just I still have the message, but he was saying, you people, he was just saying a lot of stuff, but kind of personal stuff. But he was saying, people are beneath you. You need to do you. You need to be out doing you and stuff like that. And he said, Prince has something for you. Prince has something very, very special for you. So come to Paisley Park when you get back stateside. Now, check this out. You get a message like that. Meanwhile, all this shit is going on. I'm on the phone. I have my iPad out and I have my phone out because I leave all that stuff in my room, as I said before. But anyway, I sampled. I had to go to YouTube on my phone, and there's this part that goes, "Don't put a banana in the tailpipe," and I sampled that. And y'all like, what the hell are you sampling that for? Because when we were on stage, we were playing this big ass show, and I think Kendrick Lamar was on this. He was on the same bill. He was coming on right after us, and so D had on this. It was a badass coat. It's like a boa. It's like a feather. Looks like a feathered fur coat. And I said to him, I've been around a little bit. So I said to him, when you got on that Gold Coast, it's like Hell's Angels and biker stuff. And like people been out there all day drinking beer and they're angry, hungry, and they want to hear like what they want to hear. And they didn't want to hear. I don't know if they wanted to hear us or Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if they wanted to hear us that bad. But anyway, D goes on. I said, you know what? I said, D, babe, I don't think this is a gig to wear that coat at. And he goes, I'm not thinking about this. So he puts the coat on. We go do our thing. And if you ever see me with D'Angelo, sometimes I have on shades, but I have them on the first part of the show because I'm looking at people, but I don't want them to know that I'm looking at them. And what I'm looking at is I'm just looking to see how well the show is going. Mm-hmm. And so we'll do something, we'll do a move or something. And if the crowd, and when the crowd's supposed to go, the girl's supposed to scream. They don't scream in that part. Every time I come off stage with D will, Alan Lees will come in and say, D wants to speak to you. And I always go, man, what did I do now? I always say that because you never know. Anyway, that's just left over from being in the time. Anyway, well, I would say, we'd go in and say, man, we need to take this song out. It's not working and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, this night we do this thing where we go, da-da-da, and he'll go put up so many fingers and it'll be 5 and then it go 5.5. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that, like that. So he put up all these fingers and we were like, we did. He said 21.5. And so we did. And when we hit 21.5, we go, and then we stop. The stage is black. And all of a sudden the house lights came on and the music starts playing like the intermission music. I'm like, what the everybody's like looking at each other going, what the fuck just happened? And then D ran off a stage. And so I didn't know what happened. So Sharky, the other guitar player, nothing gets past Sharky. So Sharky said, I know what happened. He said, I saw the whole thing. He said, so, because when I looked up, like when it went dark, and I'm waiting for this cue. I just hear this cue. He'll give a hand cue, and then Chris Dave on drums will go, bap, bap. Then I don't even have to look at either one of them. I just know where we're at and what we're doing. So anyway, the lights go down. It's supposed to be this count, but instead the house lights come on. D flies off the stage. It doesn't even go in the dressing room. It goes right into a car, leaves. And I'm like, everybody's perplexed. What the fuck? What happened? What the fuck happened? And so Sharky said, I saw everything. Man, I said, what happened? Because when I looked up, I just saw something in the air on the side of the stage. That they were on the right side of the stage. I just saw something disappear in the air. I didn't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. So he threw something. So Sharky said, I saw the whole thing. So I said, what happened? He said, he was standing there right when we went, a banana landed right at his feet. And so it's black. So I'm not seeing any of this. I'm way on the left-hand side of the stage and towards the back by my amps. I don't see any of this shit. So I guess D's standing there looking at the banana in the dark, mad as a he's livid. He's just like, and so he picked it up and then threw it. But by the time my ass looked up, it was just something disappearing into the darkness. So I never went. So Sharky told me what happened. So the next day, I go in my room and I go to YouTube and I find that, I'm not going to fall for a banana in a tailpipe. I find that scene and I record it. And then I recorded the Oh, don't worry. He goes, we're supposed to be like this. Move, fall for the banana. Anyway, I record both of those, and I block my number. I make my number unknown. I'm calling D's room. He's in another hotel. He ain't even in the hotel, and he's so crazy. He gets so mad when I'm doing this shit, but he doesn't know it's me. So I call his room. He goes, hello, and I go, I'm not gonna fall for the banana tailpipe, and I hang up real quick. I'm crying. I'm dying. I'm literally dying. I'm like, I can't even pull it off because I'm like about to blow it. And then I wait a while, and I call again, and I gotta fall for the banana tailpipe. And then he goes, man, who the fuck is this? I'm a blah, 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 blah. So I hang up, but I'm dying, y'all. I'm like, I'm crying. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like so weak and all this shit. So then I call him back a third time, and he goes, I put the other one on where he goes, man, you're supposed to say it like this. I go, fall for the banana. I play that one. And he said, man, when I find you, this is how mad he got. He's like, man, when I find you, I'm gonna fuck you up when I find you. And I'm just like laughing because like, I could be in anywhere, Egypt, anywhere. You don't even know. He's like, when I find you, I'm like, so it was just, I had a lot of fun with that. Then when I called him a fourth time with it, and he was like, man, I told you, blah, blah, blah. I said, hey man, it's me, Jesse. And I'm all straight. Hey man, it's me, Jesse. I'm cool. Let's go. Man, play too much. And I'm just crying. I'm crying. So the next day, tell you how crazy I am, and I don't care. So the next day I go to craft services, the food people.
Right.
And we're at this huge outdoor festival. It's a ton of us. It's me, Derek Trucks, Susan, Lefty. It's so many, Joe Bonamassa. It's a ton of people because it's 3 stages or something. And I guess what's his name really got it bad after us because when he went on Kendrick, because they was throwing whole cups of beer at him. We didn't get that too, so it was bad. It was like not a scene for us to be at. But anyway, I call. So the next day I get these big old big old container of like a bowl of bananas, and then the way our tent is set up, D has to walk into our tent and then walk straight, make a left, and go in his tent. And we're at a huge outdoor festival, so it's all groovy and gravy and beautiful and all that. And so I go, so I put he has to sit in this chair for the Roxanne, the hair person, to do his hair. So I set the bowl in the chair, and then one of his managers go, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I said, that's why you ain't me. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, I put the bowl of bananas in his thing, and I just waited till he showed up. And our trailer, the band is all in the trailer. D walks in. He said, hey, everybody. Hey, D, what's up, everybody? I say, hey, D. Da, 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 da. And he goes into his side of the tent, closes a thing, and I just wait. And you hear, Jesse, mother. Like, of course, I staggered in there. I couldn't even stand straight. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, my God.
And the light of that is that sometimes racism is so fucking stupid that it's so hilarious. That's all.
Yeah,
that's why I laugh about it, because it's like it is so ignorant, but it's beyond ignorant. It's just so dumb, and so it's just stupid. It's fucking embarrassing. So I just laugh about it. You have to laugh at it.
I mean, but do you? I mean, honestly, was that? I mean, now that you're saying that, it was like, because that's not how I was kind of thinking it. I mean, because in my mind, somebody that pays money to come and see you guys, it just doesn't seem.
Yeah, that's exactly.
No. That's like, remember the guy he waited like got it through the guy paid to see Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle was the only one there, so he definitely paid to see Dave Chappelle, but he still threw that banana. So I'm just saying, people they do a lot of dumb shit. People go to concerts to throw shit. Are you kidding me? People come to concerts to boo people. Think about that. You rode a bus, a train, whatever, just to come and look at you with your arms folded and go, I can do that better than him.
They pre-prepare their boo too.
Yeah, but you paid to get in here and hate. I was just automatically in here, but you paid to get in here and travel and everything just to hate. I don't mind.
Oh my God.
Hating, because my thing is that to hate on me, it ain't free. I don't know. But no, it's all great. It's all so groovy.
That's when you wish you had a graham cracker or something to throw back.
Just a cracker.
You throw some words. Original. Just throw some words that are not yelled and not even cursed, that are just coming at people so straight and so simplistic. And sometimes you can, if you use your brain, you can always eloquently slap someone with a velvet glove, they call it in the
Hmm.
literary world. It's like hit somebody so straight, but it's hard, you know. I never mess with. That's like messing with comedians. They're like how I am on guitar. They are that way with language and jokes and insults, and so you never mess with a comedian. And he or she has the mic. Good luck.
Right.
But
Right.
One of
no,
the
everything is moving. Everything is moving. It's just so much work, man. I'm not complaining about it. I just stop and do other things all the time because I'm really just these records are going to be a gift, but God, it's a lot of work. I'll never do this again. I have no idea what I was thinking this time, but it's my last R&B record, so I just want it to be wall climbing. I don't want to make records where y'all are calling me going, you know, privately calling me going, "Hey man, you busy?" No. I need to ask you something. Yeah, what's that? Why? Why did you even make this shit? I don't want to. So I try to make the greatest things. I try to act as though, you know, it's like when you plan a show and it's only 10 people there, you do the show
Mhm.
as if there's, you know, 2 million people there because you're still getting paid to do the show. So it's like I always say, if it goes that way, it's a paid rehearsal. Do our thing, have
Yeah.
fun, let's enjoy it, that kind of a thing. But no, the records they're really going to be special. They're really going to be. I put a lot into this stuff, man. I really, really, truly, honestly did. Because times have changed in the sense of how you make records. Time have changed the frequencies and the tones of records. A lot of things have changed. The recordings have way more high end than they've ever had. A whole high, like you have a set of headphones for five or 6 years ago, they may not even work. They may not even be capable of putting out the frequencies that are on records now. It's like you put more bounce on your system with a sub, there's nothing going to be coming out the sub because there's no
Right.
subtones on records. But now records have subtones and all kinds of stuff on them now that they. And so in a way, it's inexcusable for a record to sound bad. But I hear a lot of badly recorded records. So, but
Yeah, and I
it
meant
is
to
what
ask
it
you
is.
about that because right now you're, you know, and we're gonna since you're already talking about Jeff, I'm just gonna bounce around here
Do it. I'm good.
on the thing here because one of the things I wanted to ask you is that now you're creating not one, not two, but three records at the same time. And I kind of wanted to get a little bit of an idea of exactly, you know, what your writing process is because when you look at like the set of albums that you had with Review, Shockadelica, Every Shade of Love, between that set and Bare My Naked Soul was 8 years. And then between Bare My Naked Soul and Verbal Penetration was like 13 years.
Yeah.
It was
And
that
now
long.
it's been
Wow.
like, and now it's been 15 years, almost 15 years. In October, it will be 15 years since Verbal Penetration came out. Can you kind of explain a little bit about, you know, what it just, I know it probably doesn't, you're busy all the time, but for us
Right.
fans,
Yeah,
that
I
are
do
like
a lot of stuff that people don't
obsessed,
know about.
right,
Yeah. We'll
exactly.
talk
And
about that too.
we're definitely going to talk about that, but you know, what, what is the, you know, I guess the reasoning for the really extended period of time, especially for this one here that's coming out and why 3 albums? I guess that's the batch.
Well, in all honesty, it's like it's like for years carried around um I carried around um songs. I just never recorded them. I had them, but I just never recorded them. And so I just decided one day. I decided over COVID. It's supposed to happen over COVID, but what ended up happening is that everything was so shut down, and me and my cousin Ken had a lot of. He built an incredible studio and all that stuff. He put together an incredible set, but it's just during 2020 it's in partly of 2021 as well. We had all new equipment. We knew nothing about turning it on, hooking up, nothing, and couldn't get you couldn't get a tech,
Mm.
you couldn't get help to uh to help run this stuff and how to do this and how to hook it up and this and that. And so a lot of it was this trial and error over months and months and months. We had a computer that was so new, it was never qualified for the recording. It was
Mm.
never qualified for, really qualified for, certified rather for Abbott Pro Tools. So we just had a lot of issues, but I was still recording nonetheless. I was recording through anything and everything, and at any hour you can think. That's why a lot of the rough vocals sound like this. Yeah, you if you want to be, because everybody was asleep, and I'm whispering it on the. I hear the melody. I got to get it out, but I'm whispering it on a headphone because I had it stuffed before the room was done. It was set up in just a regular bedroom, and so I was in there laying stuff down the whole. It actually got me all through 2020 and 2021. But the spaces between the records, a lot of it had to do with legal stuff. Believe it or not, it was the first real play. I was like had to write out my time being on A&M Records because I didn't want to do another record. I wasn't going to do another record on A&M. I had to ride it out and let the time pass in years before the actual time ran out. So that was one of the reasons that period took a long time. And then with this one, I just knew it was going to be a for taking. It was going to be quite an on taking to do this and do it one man style. But at the same time, I really wanted the urban record to be something special because I'm not making another one. I'm just going to go full tilt on my rock blues side and live my days out somewhere in the world doing that. And I have no idea where I'm going, but as soon as this is done, I'm actually leaving the state. So I don't know where I'm going yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I don't. So all of my every award I got, gold, platinum, Grammy, whatever it may be, all of it is being given away in the campaign for the record, for the pre-orders.
Wow.
So
guitars, all kinds of shit. It's like everything. It's like I have so much stuff, and I didn't realize I had this much stuff, but I must have collected it from the very first time shows, like the very first show. So I have stuff from there all the way up through my first album, second album tours, and all this kind of thing. I have even when the time came together in 2008, I think I was grabbing the nameplates off the door and things like that and making them guys sign stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing it for. You just never know. And you want to have it, maybe if you had it, and give it in a raffle with something having to do with the time at that time, no pun intended. But yeah, so I collected everything, even all my dates with D all over Europe and everything. I got stuff from everything. I don't know how and why. I'm not a collector of anything either. So it's just kind of strange that I do that. I did that.
Yeah, and whatever. I mean, let's talk about these 3 albums that you're working on. And I've heard you when we were talking on the phone the other night, and you also said it here. You said your last R&B album. Mm-hmm. So are you? Is there a theme to each one of these 3 albums? And they're
nothing to do with one another. They're nothing to do with. They're not part 2. It's nothing like that. They're just separate. Their own separate entities. That's why they are. When you have them and you look at them, they're their own separate title, style, just it's their own step. They're night and day, night and day. And we have bets. We have inside bets on which albums are going to be the most popular. And I just can't wait to see who's right and who's wrong. But the one that there's some ladies and a few gentlemen singing on the one of the albums that I'm not singing on at all. And it's like it's really? But it's stuff that I had a hand in producing and writing and things like that. But it's just some beautiful shit on there for real. I mean, it's like I don't know. I am crazy, I think, to have even attempted this. But when I walk away from it for a month and I got to work on something else, and then I come back to it, and it's so breathtaking to me that when I had to play a show, a couple months back, had to play some shows. I'm not excited. I'm so excited to play this new stuff, and it's just fire. And it's the whole reason why it's been marketed. It's going to be marketed the way that it's marketed, and so forth and so on, is because you got to you kind of like make your own lightning in a way. But what I want to do is get to a point with this one so that the tour and the dates are not in somebody else's hand. That's the thing that I'm really sick about, because I always believe 100% in myself. And so just kind of create a situation where you can just go buy the venue instead of having to go through people all the time. I don't want to do that. It's like just buy the venue, just buy that night, buy 2 nights, buy 4 nights. What do you need these? What do you need? You buy those nights and you just do have your folks do all the marketing and the ticket things and not be concerned about somebody else putting you in a box all the fucking time. That's why I don't like touring. I really honestly do not like touring in the States because of that reason. Because black or white, people tend to put you in a box. They tend to say, oh, you're black, so I can put you with a group that you don't fit at all, and their audience will hate you. And
then you get a banana.
We don't know that, but exactly, you'll get a banana some fucking where. I know that, but bottom line is, I don't really, because of that reason. It's like it's just things that people. I hear people leave the music business and stuff like that, and I always say somehow you left it like that because of whatever. You wasn't in it like that because it's not the music business that you're in. It's just the love of music that drives you. But I know I'm speaking from a different place because I've been fortunate, and I've really honestly been fortunate. All these years later, people buy the records if they come to your shows. They come right to your shows and do their thing. So I really can't speak for a lot of people, because to do so, it would be arrogant of me to say, like when a girl told everybody, oh, you want to make it, get off your asses and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're worth $8 trillion. You really should shut up.
Right.
Which a lot of women were telling that woman to shut but all of that aside, man, it's just a different days. And I used to say it to Pino, Pino Palladino. I said, look at Pino and say, man, we last of the Mohicans, right? And he goes, yeah, we are. No, we are really, because it's not just it's the style. It's the style, the sense of style, the fact that we created something that other people mimic. And I think that's really fortunate in life. Is like, there's 1 million musicians, and there's definitely at least 2 million that know more chords than I'll ever know. But I'm so blessed to be able to put some chords together and a few words that appeal, that in the end appeals to people. So it makes me one of the luckiest guys one of the luckiest people walking the earth, man. I'm really fortunate.
And the thing is you've been busy. You've always been busy, always been going. It's never been a never not working kind of scenario. If people are aware, just never mind all the records and the albums that you've created, but the productions that you've been on and written for that weren't even yours.
I'm on records with Johnny Cash.
Right.
I'm on the last Carl Perkins record, come to think of it. I was in sessions with Willie Nelson, Charlie Daniels, Bono from youth. I was in sessions. I've been this, and you're like, oh, did you fly there for that? No, I was there doing something else. And they came in the room and said, excuse me, do you know how to finger pick? And I said, what instrument? They said guitar, acoustic guitar, or banjo. And I was like, yeah, I know all of that. I didn't know any of that, but I went in there and did it somehow. I just went in there and start finger picking. I have no idea how, but I did. And I play slide guitar tuned to an open G, and I know my way around that, chords and all that. But a banjo is the same thing, and I didn't know that. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I can play banjo.
Right.
And I actually did. And I just think that comes from being an absolute lunatic.
All right, so I want to listen to you jam a little bit.
I know. I was going to mention the film
saying,
too.
I can. Which film?
Well, it's just you also have a lot of production credits and sync license stuff that people may not be aware of. From like, what was it? Malibu's Most Wanted, Pretty in Pink,
Cool School,
Action Jackson. Of course, people
Jackson
would know those. White Men Can't Jump, the original, not the
Jump for it.
new one.
Yeah, not the new one. Yeah.
So you've always been busy. So,
but
my favorite one was what's my favorite thing to do? My favorite one was Time to Kill, because the Time to Kill I got to do sing. I got the score sing, so that was my first time, and that was the reason why when my youngest daughter when my wife was at the time I was married, my wife was pregnant with my youngest child, and we had moved to Toronto because I wanted to get into film and everything, and I think everything in LA is extremely cliquish, and I wanted to really get into independent film. And so that's one of the reasons why it even takes me abroad as well. I'll be touring because Europe is different than here. I can tour based in Europe and just be absolutely fine, and then still work on film, and I want to get more into film. As a matter of fact, when my audiobook comes out, that's what you'll notice about it. It'll be like a film more than just an audiobook, but I'm doing it in a special way because we all spend so much time in our cars, and now with cell phones and all that stuff, a lot of times to even listen to anything, we almost have to go just jump in the car and drive
That's
to
right.
get any piece. And you'll still get that call, honey, can you get bread? Oh my God. Can I? No, I'm just kidding. But my girl,
It's too
my girl used to
accessible
do
now.
that when I was on a motorcycle. And I'm like, really? We should ask for a big thing of milk, and I'm on a motorcycle. I'm like, really? Okay. Doesn't
Yeah.
work.
So
But it's the book when you hear it, it's scored, and it's very visual. I even try to write my music like that. And so the thing you asked me about how I do music now is drastic. There's nothing to do with yesterday, how I used to do music. So bizarre how I do music now. It is something about it has freed my mind in such a way. In one way, it freed my mind. In another way, the new way that I do music, I record or write and all that. I used to write the music, do the drums, do the bass, do guitar, keys, whatever it may be. The main thing is, then I would go sit in a coffee house with ear goggles on and listen to, till I wrote the first verse, the intro, the chorus, the da da da. I would not do the song until I had every part, because I think it had to do because we were dealing with reels of tape, which were very expensive, like 140 something, $150 for a reel of tape. And you hitting it +9, so you're hitting it so hard you can only hit it one time. And so you have to really kind of know what you were going to do before you recorded it. So, but now today with the advent of Pro Tools, it's like, and a lot of the digital DAWs, it's beautiful because you don't have tape costs. You can as a matter of fact, I sung 4 songs. 3 of them are really nice. One of the 4 was not good at all. And I was like, what is wrong with this? And I listened to it, and it's just in the wrong key. So I got to record the whole song from the ground up. But I swore on this one I would not ever be lazy, no matter how tired I was. That's why I'm half asleep right now. But I said I would never be lazy on this one.
well, when you're talking about the 3 albums that you're creating, so I kind of got the picture of one of them. You said it's going to be the quote unquote last R&B.
I know, but I don't know where y'all hear that stuff at. Where did y'all hear that I was doing that at? That's what I like to know.
You said that's gonna be my
I know,
last.
but where was I know, but when you said the 3 albums, where did you actually hear that from? That should have never got out of that meet and greet thing. These people are so hard-headed. They were supposed to hire the service that locks your phone up, and they didn't. Because I'm not supposed to talk about any of this stuff publicly. Because what people steal now are ideas. People don't steal your ID anymore. They just want your social security. They don't make their own ID and buy their own car. They don't want yours. So information is what people steal. So I don't know how that, because I never talk about that 3 album thing publicly. And I noticed that when it slipped out of the Bay in April, you guys haven't noticed what came out, what Universal put out of mine.
I saw a 3
Exactly.
3 CD
exactly. Yes, that shit didn't work. That shit did not. That shit didn't exist until that information slipped out, and that's why I'm like really uneasy talking about all of that, because when you talk about things before they're out, people steal the ideas. A bunch of other stuff happens. So
and I would
I have flashbacks of going back to the other organization I used to be part of, and you couldn't say anything because that shit would be on their record, their head, their stage, and everything else. So I'm just a little
so all you fans need to know is
apprehensive.
all you fans need to know is that there's new music coming. So just it's coming. That's
Yeah, so shut up and take it.
No, it's okay, because the cool thing about it is that people can steal your this, the that, the boot, the blah. They can't steal the music though you bring it.
True.
And I'm telling you, I watched everybody bring it, and I watched and I said to I watched everybody that I would be thrown into a pot with, if you will. But I'm telling you, it's like I'm not I'm not kidding. I don't, when it comes, look, I'll be silly on some other stuff, but when it comes to music, very, very serious. And it's just like a girl asked me the other day, when you do this, and I was playing on the phone, and she was like, would you play that new song that you wrote, play the chorus to it or the whatever. And I was playing some of it. And I said, I can't, I don't know how people can. I see people on IG and they're playing all this stuff and their face is like, they could be just eating toast. And because of that reason, that's why I don't feel what they're doing. It's singers that I see, some of these young singers, they're amazing. But because I'm telling you, what's going on in music right now. Yeah, but the reason why you don't believe it, because a lot of music is going against nature. It's like a lot of things that are happening like this. I think the perfect analogy, and it's not even an analogy anymore. It's actually becoming, it's in some parts of the world, it's becoming reality. But you're basically taking a baby and putting the baby in the womb. And you're like, what the hell does that mean? That means that the way that an artist used to come into the world of music or making a record and all that, they came the other direction. Like the artist was a kid and they sang in church or they sang over here at this club and they did this and that live. And then they got signed and then they had to learn how to handle the studio under the tutelage of a seasoned producer, and all that kind of thing. And that's why it was that. But now it's the opposite. And that's what makes it really weird that people now make a record and have to go learn how to sing live. And see what I'm saying? That's against nature. That's not the way it's supposed to be. And so that's why there's certain notes I play. I can't even breathe when I play those notes. The girl was asking me, why do you think that is? I'm like, I think it's because some of them notes came up through Africa and over the waters, through slavery, whatever. Some of those notes hold that energy. They hold those vibrations in them. And so there's certain things certain players cannot play that shit without frowning. Cause it's just, I just wish you could feel, plug into somebody when they're doing it and they play. Cause please don't misunderstand me. There's a lot of people making faces and the shit they're making faces on, I could play with my feet. So I'm like, what are you making faces for? That's not part of playing. It's like something that happens because you're actually feeling. It's like I just can't stand Broadway plays all the time. I mean, not the actual Broadway or the plays. I'm talking about when people just overact all the time and be doing more acting than playing, if you will. That's why the Band of Gypsies record was so fucking fire, because the Hendrix, when he was nobody, he signed a deal, because he would sign anything anybody put in front of him, they would say. But he signed a deal with this guy when he was nobody. He got a few dollars and got a few dollars and signed with this record guy named Ed Chaplin. And so a bunch of years go by and he comes back to the US, a big star, 67 or something. And there was this guy who was waiting on him with the contract. And that's what a Band of Gypsy. That's why it's the only record that's on another label. It's on CBS or Columbia or something, I think. Maybe Columbia. Capitol, I think Capitol. I'm not sure. But funny thing about it, if Hendrix would have been alive to see the record that he disliked, that he's in the studio the whole time when they're mixing this, Eddie Kramer saying that was saying that he had his head in his hands. Like, oh my God. He was just like really distraught over the record. But had he lived to see what this record did, it's the biggest selling record out of every record he's ever had. It's the biggest selling record of his career, hands down, period. And the reason why, because it was the first of his albums that Black people bought hand over fist. That's why. First record that Black folks just bought and got attacked into. But anyway, I digress and jump around like a broken old TV radio that you have to go to it and turn the dial and doesn't have a remote and so forth and so on. But all of that aside, all of that shit I'm saying affects what I do today. And it's why I don't like being on a label. I hate it being on a label. It's such a pimp game. It's such a pimp gun. It's such a pimp game. And I just wish that every artist that's on it could be a $3,000 a night a hooker and not $25 or $20 a hand job. Yeah, $20 a hand job hooker. Because you're gonna, if we own it, when you own it, if you don't own it, you kind of a hole in there. And the way it's really such a pimp game the way they do it. So for me, that's why I started signing as much stuff I could outside of the record label. Because my deal was kind of a deal by baptism, and then after that, I knew what not to do, because I remember signing a conflict of interest letter, and then the little did I know that meant we actually represent the label that you're signing to, so who do you think ought to get a better deal, you or them? And it's like, you poor child. Basically that's what a conflict of letters is. Like, you're getting fucked over and you're okay with it. You're not okay with it, but just acknowledging that they're gonna get the better deal, because who you think's paying them more, you or them? Anyway, I made it work for me though.
So on your A&M deal, when you broke with Jesse Johnson's Revue, did you get any advice from like Prince and all the stuff that he was going through with Warner Brothers, or did you just kind of dive into it because you were just ready to kind of break out?
No, I didn't talk to anybody about anything. As a matter of fact, there's some stuff that my original bass player, he's in my band now again, and I just love him. He's like such a dopest cat. Yeah, he's in the Jerry. He's in the band. My drummer that's been with me forever, he's dope as hell. Brian Edwards, he's in the band, and I have a new girl that's sweet as can be. I need that vocal. His name Mary Harris, out of Jersey / Philly. So it's the cool things going down, but I didn't ask anybody anything, because what am I going to ask them? It's like, I've been making them rich, so how the fuck is he going to advise me? I've been making him a shitload of money and nothing for myself, because I'm playing somebody else's songs. And so it wasn't until Jungle Love and The Bird, and what did I write? I co-wrote. I brought in Jungle Love. I brought in that music. Prince wrote the lyrics. I wrote a song and recorded a song called A Bird. So Prince used some of the lyrics on it and changed the way that I was doing it. So, and then I wrote a song with him called If the Kid. And he was like, yeah, Jesse, I need you to, that song. He said, I want you to sing this note. And I said, what note? He was like, give me the note. If the kid can't think of nobody. I'm like, yeah, I'm not singing that. He's like, why? I'm like, dude, I'm not singing no fucking song about you. Are you crazy? And he's like, no, I need you to sing this song. Here's your note. Ask Morris if I sing on that shit. I ain't singing on that. I'm like, dude, I'm not singing no song about you. If you make that shit about Morris is my bandmate, and I know who he is in the film and all that, then cool. But I ain't singing no song about, put that shit on your record then. Well, those are some of the, the fun.
And I did. Can you see?
Disagreements we always had, but one thing he could always count on me. If I didn't want to do it, I don't give a fuck. He was asking me, I wasn't doing it.
Can you see the screen at all?
No.
Like if I put up a picture, could you see it?
Oh, probably. I can see you guys. So yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to put this up because
how do I make this big? There it goes. I got it. Okay.
So, there's a lot of things that you were involved in, even back in this time with 1999. You sang a lot of the party lyrics and stuff like that. And you brought a lot to the table with this album.
Man.
And what I find,
but he didn't credit me though. I was hurt behind that shit.
Said,
I really was.
You said,
really was.
I heard you say on the Questlove interview that you said that JJ was for Jill Jones, but I had Jill Jones on the show about a couple months ago, and she said that wasn't her, that was you. So both of you
I asked him. I was at First Avenue. I was with him when he played it, because he played it unmastered. And what's funny about it, he made his record. It just worked against him. I was with him. I swear on the soul of my babies, I was with him. So we had just came back from LA, and we came to First Avenue. We didn't go home. We came right from the airport. We went to his house, got in the car, went right to First Avenue. And so he had mastered Ice Cream Castle. He had Ice Cream Castle in his hand, and he had, Jesus, I wish I could remember what song it was. It was when Ice Cream Castle came out, what was Prince's album?
Well, I mean, it was Purple Rain right before it.
Okay, hold on. We had okay. So what album did we have before? I think the album with the Walk or something, or Wild and Loose. That was the
Oh,
second album, right? That was the second time out. What
what
time
time
is
is
it?
it? Right.
And so he had whatever he had. It was either DMSR. It was the album. So it had to be the 1999 record.
Yeah.
But anyway, he would master his record. Really, he would always, because Bernie Grumman and him would always be like arguing, because Bernie's like, that's too loud. That doesn't need to be that loud. And he would be like, it needs to be louder. And then Bernie, when I lived at Prince's house, the acetates would arrive and it would have all these notes on it. Be like, the record distorts at 520. Prince could care less. He doesn't care about none of that shit. So, but we went to First Avenue. We got in it. I don't even know how we got there, because I know we didn't go all the way to Chanhassen. We came from LAX, and somehow we were at First Avenue. So I don't know if they had a car. They had his car there, and we jumped in the car. Well, I don't even remember. But we were there, and he played it. And because our record was mastered with way less bass, and our record sounded fucking amazing. He played our record first. And it was the Walk or one of them, and it just sounded so clear and amazing. And then he played his record, and it was like, and I was like, that's what your ass get. So I was laughing and messing with him and pointing, and she's like, what? I'm like, that's what you get. That shit is like really whatever. But him and Morris, man, one thing I used to love about Morris, because Morris really, Morris used to always have me crying, because he didn't give a shit. There were some things about it he didn't give a shit. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about Sunset Sound, and they were actually talking about Sunset Sound, but they were mentioning Janet Jackson. And I had this flashback of Morris and I arriving to the studio during the day, and Prince was already in there, and he stood at the board, and he goes like, "Oh, you got to hear this song." And he played the song. And so he caught us right when we walked in the door. So we were still at the end of the console. Morris is in front of me, I'm behind him, and he plays this song. And the song is like, and the song, after it plays for a while, he turns the speaker down a little bit. Morris goes, "Man, this shit sounds like Fame." He just said that shit out. And I was behind him, and I was like, oh, God. And Prince got really mad. He's like, "Man, no, it doesn't." And Morris is like, "Man, this shit sounds just like Fame." But they always did that. But it used to be so funny to me, because I used to, especially when I was really new, because I knew they grew up together. I didn't know all of that, but I just got over time how tight they were, because I used to he would say anything. Prince is like, "Man, that shit sounds just like Fame." And Prince said, "No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Da, 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 da." And then he turned it down, then he turned it back up, and then he turned it. And I just realized when I thought about that, I've never heard that song ever again in my life. Like, he obviously,
I was trying to figure out what song it was, and
it never came. He never put it out. It's a song that sounds just like Fame. And so he Morris would say something, and then so one time we went out, and they were all working, and then Morris came over to the house at night or something. We were downstairs working. We came upstairs, and it was kind of like this couch. It was like a pit upstairs, and I'm asleep. Morris is asleep. Prince comes up and goes, "Morris, come hear this." And Morris goes downstairs, and Morris is down there for a short time. I hear the floor moving. And I come upstairs, and Morris is like, "Man, waking me up for that shit." And then Morris lays down, and he said, "Jesse, come hear this." And I go down, and he says, "Song, Let's Pretend We're Married." He just finished it, and he's playing it. I'm like, "Man, that shit is dope. This is tight. I like it. That shit's nice, man. It's nice." And he's kicking it. And then when he plays it all the way to the end, he goes, "Morris didn't like it. He called it choo-choo train music." He said it's choo-choo train, because Morris liked the R&B shit. So Morris was like, so first thing Morris said to Prince when he went in here, Prince is telling me what Morris has said. He goes, Morris said, first thing Morris said, "Man, where the hand claps? They ain't got no hand claps." And so Morris got out of hand claps. You would put them hands. So those two used to just have me. They really used to have me crying. But those two on instruments together, Jesus Christ! In the early days, I used to just stop playing. It would just be like a tennis match. He'd be on keys, and Morris would be on drums, and I'd be like, "Jesus, these dudes are bad." God damn, they were bad.
You went off to do your solo thing, and then also when I'm always wondered why all the bandmates that you work with, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and all the stuff that they did with production, and Morris Day with his solo stuff. How come you never really did any work with them production wise on their solo stuff?
I did play on. You mean did I play on some of Flight Time stuff? I played on a bit of
No,
Flight Time stuff.
not Flight Time.
But,
I'm talking about solo post the time. Well, the first.
I mean, that's what I mean. I played on their productions. I played on Alexander O'Neal
Oh.
stuff before. I played on
Okay,
low key. I played on. I recorded. I'm just not credited correctly, which I got to deal with the Grammy board on that now because that song on the Funk This album is all me. That's not anybody else on that song. That I redid the Hendrix Castles Made of Sand. They just credit it like I didn't, but I did that whole thing was done at my studio, except for her vocals. But I took her vocals back to my studio and edit them on timing. I did. I went back and edited all the vocals and did all the pans and all of that shit and the balances of this, that, and the other. I actually did. But that whole song is me. That's not nobody else is on it. Nobody else burped on there, farted, anything. That's just me on that entire track. But it doesn't say that. It makes it sound like I just showed up and played a guitar track. But I recorded that whole. I had just finished that song, Don't Throw Yourself Away, off of Verbal. So I already had the Fender amp mic'd and set up when I got a call to do that. And so I just pulled the song up, had to call a friend of mine because that song's got weird timing on it. It goes down, 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 down. And then I made the timing hit on the one. So if somebody's listening to it, because it stays in time, because you really can't, it's hard to sometimes go abstract and an urban world because people move and they kind of breathe through a tempo when they're listening to something. And so when it goes down, 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 because it goes down, down, won't, and it's off. It goes do 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 2, 3, 4, and so I do it. I do it in time and boom, and so cat minds come right in like that.
Man. Okay, here I'm going to ask you a question that I've always wanted to know. You can refuse to answer if you want, but I'm going to bounce around a little bit. I did actually have a lot of people were asking, do you guys have like you plan out the interviews? Yes, literally have like a lot of questions, but I loved you just going off on stories. This is great, but I want to talk about
roll them.
I want to talk about the Condensate album, but specifically before we talk about Condensate, I want to talk about the cover. Because on the cover, and I need to know if this is intentional or not, but if you close up on you're wearing a Paisley shirt, and you are holding up your middle finger right next to your Paisley shirt. And I wanted to know if that's intentional or...
No, you guys read so much bad stuff into something that's nothing. But no. I don't. It's just that's why I started. Now I'm going to start to say conspiracy theorists and all that. But no. It had nothing to do with that. Plus, people really got to fucking stop acting like Prince invented Paisley. Y'all know it from him. But I've been wearing Paisley since I was in the 3rd grade. I had them Sears. I had them Sears and Roebucks, the Jackson 5.
That's it.
Department. They had the Jackson 5 department from when I was
big in the 70s.
Like the 4th. I was a 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. I would get an allotment as a foster child. I would get allotment of money for my school clothes, and so my foster parents used to take me to Sears. Used to go right to that Jackson 5 department, have on the Paisley shirt, the striped pants, the matching boots. I had all that shit on when I was a kid. I was clean as hell in school as a child. And the 7th, 8th, 9th, all of that, I was always clean in school. So I wish people to stop. They need to really go Google it. Everybody listening, just for the, giggles and whatever, go Google when Paisley came on the scene. You'll see. Oh, yeah, it's not on the fucking Bee Gees was wearing that. Or Hendrix wore that. Hendrix wore purple and he wore fuchsia. Yeah, sometimes they're on a purple shirt, sometimes they're on fuchsia. So does that mean it's just like nobody, it doesn't even matter. But
I think
even the word, even the name purple for color isn't that old. You know that was never. It was always in painting and going back to Monet and all them was violet. There was no such thing as purple. And I always look at because I look up other things. Like when I'm writing lyrics, I look up words and see when did this word come into civilization? When does this word come? When do people start to use this word? I always like to see how words, where they date, when do people start using them, so forth and so on. So sometimes when I'm doing that, and also being part of Chinese horoscope. I wish I could lie to you and say, man, we were so deep. We were looking at the colors of the chakra, and that's where I got the fuchsia from. We wasn't doing. We just was picking. Me, I was picking a color so I wouldn't be in the dark. Because the first tour I was wearing black, and you never saw my ass. I was wearing black. I was like, because Prince would turn all the lights off on us, and we just have a couple of lights, and that's what Terry and Jimmy and Morris and Jerome, they'll tell you we used to look at the video. Jam will tell you we used to look at the video on our tour bus, and that's how we knew we were kicking a little bit, because that green light we got that Hulk light. We used to call it Hulk light because we would just be all green, and that light would just go and stay on, and we'd be like, okay, we must be doing something. We got that. But the first tour we got murdered. He murdered us every night because we didn't know what we were doing. But that second tour, though, that second one, oh my God! Not only did we know what we were doing, we were very, very angry too. We wasn't getting paid no money. We were playing in 2 effing bands every night with 11 minutes between the Vanity 6 and the time to get dressed, made up, hair comb, clothes on, and back on stage. Bam! And we wasn't getting paid for that shit. And we finally came up in that shit like some some Detroit motor workers. Like, look, man, something gonna need to change around this before you be playing all these shows by yourself. And so they had to do 2 things, and they did this shit mid-tour. They waited till, if we hadn't said anything would happen, but I think Terry Lewis was the one that spearheaded that, because we should have had we didn't have our own rooms either. Terry and I were still roommates, so forth and so on. And it was like, we need our own rooms, and we need to get paid for being in both of these bands. It was like people don't realize, when I quit the time, when I went on my own, I wasn't even making, in the time, I wasn't making $300 a week. So people just don't know that shit. But it's like, but I was told by a very wise person, Jamie Shoup, said, do not quit. I was about to quit in Lakeland, Florida. It's where we shot the Walk video, and Prince shot 1999 and something else in that same city. We all in the same day. We shot like 30 videos in one day or something back. Boy, those were the days. But I was quitting that day. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is too ridiculous. How do you go on tour, and whatever money you left home with, you come home with less? It was a real Twilight Zone thing. And I was just fed up. Because it's like when people ask me about, because I know that you got some really good questions there, that when we get to them, let's just answer all of that shit, because I want people to stop assuming and stop guessing and stop making up. So at least y'all have my voice saying what it is.
Well, and that was the reason for it, because if you look at the screen, if you do a close up of it, we're talking about the condensate again. It was the fact.
No, but I don't have but I didn't buy that shirt. I didn't bring that shirt. The guy that dressed us brought that shirt, but it had my colors in it. I didn't even know. Honestly, let me just see something. Now you got me thinking. Now you got me thinking hard, like y'all thinking.
It was
I wanted my ring to show. I just want to see if that shirt is in here. I'm gonna make that. Okay. I'm gonna make that shirt part of the giveaway. Where is that shirt?
I'm just showing you where people are.
That shirt is out of here.
I'm going, huh? Say that again.
I said that shirt is out of here. You.
No, I am. I'm gonna make that part of the giveaway.
That's right.
It's here. It is here. Yeah, they're here. I'm gonna give. That's some dope ass shit, but I never wore them. But I got some really beautiful stuff that
we're gonna just mark this off as rumor. It's just happenstance. He was showing off his ring. The shirt just happened to be.
No. I'm just showing up my ring. I never knew that I looked like I was making a finger to somebody. Pointed that off. Say, "Were you giving the finger to?" I'm like, no.
Just now.
Okay. All right.
No.
Okay. There,
I don't even think. I swear to God, I don't put that much thought into anything, and I really don't. Just like this interview, people were calling me, "Are you prepared for tomorrow?" I'm like, "What you mean prepared?" I'm like, "I don't know what they're asking me." I know, but are you? I'm like, "Can you just get off the phone?" Like, it's nothing that. What am I prepared for? Yeah, thank you. It's like,
calm down.
What am I prepared for?
Oh
man?
my God!
Right now I'm nervous now because you calling me with that stuff. I was fine before. But no, it's all good, man.
Sit in the corner.
They always ask me, are any questions off limit? I'm like, no, it's just What are you gonna do? What does that even mean?
All right, let's talk about the Bare My Naked Soul album cover. You had a bunch of, it seemed like there was some hidden messages and stuff that were kind of buried through here. There was like a lot of not really hidden messages, but I guess what were you trying to say? Like, there's a couple cover headlines that says guitarist arrested for drunken and bizarre behavior, or guitarist arrested for inciting a riot at concert and stuff like that. What was the message that you were trying to do on this album?
It was really that same free world shit where people just make up what they make up, and it's like I say every day I have to be better with that, because I just heard somebody saying really horrible stuff about me now, and I'm like, I don't know if I gotta figure out another way to deal with it, because your instinct is just to find out where they're at and drive to their house, but you'll be driving all over the world, so it's just stupid. But to even let it bother you is what I'm actually talking about. But I hear stuff all the time, and that's what that stuff that's the cover say. That's what I used to hear about. I used to just hear all kind of rumors about myself all the time, but I never ever say anything about them, because I just have to ignore them, because if I say anything, I feel like I'm giving that idiotic shit some power, and I am
unnecessary energy.
It's just like when you respond to people online that say stuff to you. Sometimes I do for another purpose, and I hope they screenshot it and keep it forever, because I meant every word, every horrible word I said. I meant it 100%. I was not in a bad mood. I wasn't being whatever. I meant aimed at them 1,000%, because it's like people have a lot of nerve coming into somebody's house. Basically, when you go to another person's site and incite garbage, you are basically bringing that in their home, because that's their site. That's not your site. So why would you it's just the world. I think the world is very, very overrun and full of really unhappy people. And it's like, good luck with that. But there's a lot of unhappy people in the world, because for you to go even have an opinion, I just think I really detest the, leave a review a generation. I hate, because people, you'll look for something, is this really good castor oil? And you'll see that it's got a lot, then something will pop up and it'll have 2 stars, and you're like, God, this stuff must have made them break out. And you read it, it's like, oh no, the bottle arrived broken. That's not a review of the product, you jackass. That's like, but people, their opinions, man. I blame Oprah for that shit. She used to put that book on everybody's chair, and their opinion mattered, and everybody's opinion does not matter. Mine, neither does mine. So people have all these opinions about this, that, and the other, and it's like, and they come at you as if their way and how they see it is the way to go. And that's why the longer you live, you realize there is no good taste or bad taste. There is no ugly person, ugly man or woman, because no matter how unattractive you may find somebody, they got somebody though.
They got somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They got somebody, and the music that you think is garbage, a bunch of people dig it, like millions.
That's
so it's like, I believe there is no such thing as good or bad taste. It's just your taste and others' taste.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, calm the fuck down some.
Yeah, people get caught up. They live off of and feed off of negativity. So anything that incites that's the easiest emotion for people to feed off of. And that's why we have this ridiculousness. And it's smart to not respond to that, because why feed into that energy? Why give it fuel?
And I think a lot of that stuff that's fighting back with them are not people. It's like a computer or something. I'm telling you, I've seen the setups in Europe. I've seen the setups in certain parts of the world. It'll be a kid sitting at this thing, and he's got like 40, 50 phones on a thing in front of him. And every one of those phones have they got a different screen on them. So they're in the midst of dealing and feeding and writing. It's crazy. It's like, I don't think people are realizing you're arguing with a machine somewhere, or even worse, you're arguing with a human that's an idiot. So good luck with that shit. You'd be better off with the machine. But I'm just saying, like, yo,
horrible, man.
Yo. So it's like, that type of thing. But now people, I want to answer some of those questions, because people think I have all this. They think they know what I feel, and they don't know what I feel. They can ask me what I feel.
Well, let's talk about Condensate then, because there's a lot of emotions around that, and a lot of things that spin off of that album, because that was technically the last hurrah for the time, as far as, you know, the original guys being back together. But talk about the name change first, because obviously and this is an assumption, because I don't know that anybody ever kind of came out and directly spoke about it. You guys even had a DVD that came out with that album that kind of addressed it a little bit, was more Morris kind of in his fields when you were kind of being the peacekeeper. But
I didn't really say much on that. I thought that thing was
Right.
really fucking stupid, because that was 40,000 years ago. And
Right.
y'all motherfuckers doing the most talking are rich. So now what? So, that's like saying, you know, I was that's like Jeff Bezos talking about, I was a foster kid. It's like, Jeff, if you don't get your ass away from us, you're like, dude, you're worth $8 trillion.
Right. Don't talk to me.
So you guys have no camera on, right?
What's that?
I mean, for me, you can't see me or nothing, right?
Correct.
Nope, I can see you.
Okay.
I think everybody was wanting you to put up a picture on those little.
I did. You said you had one already. I don't know how to do that. You guys got to call me so in advance to give me all this technical stuff. I don't know anything about what y'all are doing. I have not. I thought y'all put the picture up.
We can't, for some reason I can't attach to you. I guess because they don't want me to be able to attach any picture to you.
Well, I just needed to know if I had to make sure this camera's off, because I haven't like a lick of pants, and I didn't want to be, you know, turning anybody.
No, it's all good. We can't say anything. So tell me about the name change to Original 7. What was your basic feelings about that, or what was your? I mean,
do you really want to? Have you ever asked those guys what my feelings were about that shit?
No.
Honestly, you've never asked anybody or heard anybody talk. Man, I hated that shit. I'm like, why would you change that name? That's you know how bad business that is? That's instant billing. The time is instant billing.
Yeah.
Right. But the problem was, Prince ain't stupid. Prince is not stupid. And the majority of the songs are owned by 3 people: Prince, Morris, Jesse. And then the most coveted songs I'm on. But we just had last day I ever played with them, we're on a conference call, and y'all, I know what y'all thinking was I on there going, yeah, all that shit they be saying about me. If somebody tells you the honest to God truth, I was on that shit very calm. I just knew it wasn't for me no more, because I said to them, I went to do this show, that show, this show, and I came home with less money than I'm supposed to, a lot less money, because of the people didn't want to do this and do that. And so I'm paying tens of thousands of dollars for other people equipment to move when it's not mine, and I'm having to backline everything. So why am I backlining stuff and this person is getting to bring what they want to bring that weighs 4,000 tons through FedEx, and I'm paying for it? So it was just that kind of thing. That was the dates. The problem with the dates, before all of that shit ever happened, going back to the album. Plus, the other problem was we didn't play any of those songs off of that record, which is
right.
What's the point of having a record if you're not going to whatnot? But anyway, I just I didn't like the name change, and Prince had sent Terry a cease and desist letter, and I said, "That's the cover." I said, that's the cover. I said, that's the cover. And we're all looking at it like you can see what it is. It's laying on the cover upside. I swear to God, I swear on the souls of my babies. This is what I said. I said, that's the fucking cover. That's it. Lay that cover where it's on the bottom of the cover. It's on the bottom of the CD case or album cover. And you look and it's upside down for you as you're holding the cover. It's upside down, but you can see all of us. Like they do that, that when Jesus, those pictures of Jesus, when you used to move your head and Jesus would close his eyes and open his eyes were open. So I said, let's do that kind of a cover so that you move your hand and we're looking up straight, and then when you move your head, we're looking down at that contract. I said, that's the cover, and they wouldn't do it because Terry had signed that shit to Time Life, and I was like, no, not Time Life. I'm like, nobody. They don't deal with anybody that's alive, I don't think. But I'm like, no.
Oh man.
No, I said, man, we just do it ourselves. You only got to move like 80 to 100,000 units, man. You're doing it ourselves. You're making millions. I'm like, come on, man. And they didn't want to do any of that shit. And so I was Because it's like the way of the record label isn't the way. It's not the way. It's the way if you want to be poor and broke. But if you want to do this shit, make some money on your own, because because I always tell younger artists when they ask me, would you do a deal? I'm like, yeah, I would do a deal if I was you. I said, because the exposure it costs you to get the worldwide exposure on a publicity level, you can't afford that. So you need that. It's like you need that. You need that. Otherwise, people more than just here, people need to know you. They need to know you all over the world, everywhere you can possibly be and go. So yes, you should do the deal, but you should do some kind of limited thing where it's limited to 2 records or something. You don't want to have 3 or 4 records that you got to wait 20 some odd years to get your masters back. All of that shit. You got to so that's just talking to somebody in the game, but I'm like going, but the record companies got to give it to them, man. They're brilliant at their game, man. They gave these artists more money than they ever gave us, but they gave it to them at once. And then when the kids went through that $1 million or millions, they didn't know that money was for all of the records they had to do. So now it's crazy. I'm telling you, got to talk to somebody, because it's a real pimped out game, man.
Yeah. So obviously, Jungle Love being the one song, going back in time now, Jungle Love being the one song that, we obviously know that you wrote. I mean, I heard the demo and everything. I was like, I don't understand how he didn't get proper credit on this, or it doesn't make any sense. I know you had.
I did, didn't I? My name's on it.
What I'm talking about as far as like the cut monetarily that I feel like you probably deserved with that.
I that's one thing with Prince is fair in that way. He's in that particular one way on publishing and writing. He's actually he's fair. He's really fair. Like if it's split 3 ways, you get a third, he gets a third, the other person gets a third.
Okay.
That's kind of unusual, because normally what I've heard from a lot of people, even guests we've had on the show, that have just said, there would be a lot of things. I mean, obviously, thinking about like Brown Mark's involvement with Kiss and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, if you got credit for it.
These stories behind that.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, who was they signed to? Who were they signed to? I can tell you exactly what happened. Oh my God!
All right, go ahead.
It's that I can't even get into it. It's just like people, when I see people at the podium and they're going, you need to own your masters and I see that. I just want to. Oh man, I had to turn, because I'm like going, wait a minute, what? Starved out everybody, man. Are you fucking kidding me? But all that aside, it's my thing was, whatever I didn't learn with whatever I didn't learn. I mean, whatever I didn't make money wise, I swear to God to y'all, man, I'd be lying through my teeth because I look back at it now and it scares me. It literally scares me, and it scares me that what if it would have been modern times and I had to go, I'm not doing that for this money. I need to get this much money. And then I was just like a straight employee. I was making way more money every week or whatever, but I was a straight employee. But because I wasn't a straight employee, I don't know. I just kept thinking the time thing and my dealing with somebody like Prince, because I used to, I don't know, it's a weird thing when I think about it now, like, because I saw one of the questions asked me, what is my reaction when I knew that Prince died. I didn't finish telling you that story. Remember when I was saying that I got the message in the Gold Coast and all that?
Yeah.
I flew back to the States at night. I came back there. I got that message after the last show, got back to my hotel room, got the message, and I think the only person I ever let hear it was D'Angelo, and that was it. I landed in LA at night. I came back from because that's a long flight, man. It's like 20 some hours, man. So I landed in LA at night, got in my bed, went to sleep. Woke up the next morning to not awake. I was waking up because my girl was sitting in the bed next to me crying, and my back was to her, and I'm on the left side of the bed, and I turn over and I go, "What's wrong?" And she's sitting straight up, and the TV's on, which she would never do that while I'm sleeping like that, but
Hmm.
she's laying in bed, so it had to be a weekend, had to be a Saturday or something. So I wake up and she's sitting there crying, and I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Prince is dead." And I go, "What?" I just look up at the TV, and there's this girl on the TV, and they said, "We'll be back to talk with Prince's ex-fiance." And I'm like, who was that? And I didn't know who they were talking about till they came back. But yeah, that was when he had just sent me that message, and he left me that message in the Gold Coast. And then the day that I flew home that night, because I forget how it goes. I think when you fly back here, you fly back into like the past,
The
and
past.
when you
Yeah.
fly there, you fly into the future. But when so I flew back into the past, and so when I woke up, it was like the same day. It was weird, but it's like Prince died. And so then I never went to Paisley Park, and I never knew what he had for me. And then my wife was telling me, "You should just go out there anyway." I said, "I'm not going out there. I'll be on the news if I go out there and somebody fucks with me. I'm not going out there."
Right.
Never heard that girl's name ever again. Never
Yeah.
again.
Was the ex-fiance, was it Sheila?
Yeah, but I didn't know who they were talking about when
Yeah.
came back and I saw that. I was like, they were engaged. I mean, I'd been gone forever, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, there's so many stories. Yeah, they make up stories about you. You can imagine the stories they make up about Prince. Oh my God.
Especially since he's dead.
Oh
Since
yeah.
he's no
Oh
longer
yeah, even more.
here, and he can't go because I would never say anything. I mean, there's a lot of things that I experienced around him and stuff that I would never in a million years ever talk about, because I don't think it's proper to go sell your friends stories to make money. I think it's some really low life shit to do. But
Right.
people do it every day. But I just think it's really trash and garbage to sell your friends secrets, shit that you've seen them do and anything like, shit like that. I just think I don't know. I couldn't do it. So my book, I think when he's in my book or anybody's in my book, I'm actually talking about the funniest shit that y'all won't believe. I'm talking about really things that actually make me laugh, that if I tell you, you're like, what? We used to do some crazy stuff, but nothing, I mean, like laughing crazy, just it was so weird. It was weird, and had never experienced that before, where you're on tour with a bunch of guys and all become so tight that when your girl comes out, you just want her to go home because she's in the way.
Right.
She's in the way because we just are flowing. So it's weird how when you get into that rhythm as a band and then as a people, because it was like that with my very first band when I took out, who was in my band? I can't even remember. Jerry Hubbard, Paul Peterson, Rocky,
Yep,
Michael
Rocky.
Baker, Tim Baker, everybody I took out, we just had a blast. And I would watch them because they were all young, new. And I would leave the venue right away in another car and meet them later at the hotel, because I used to allow them to stay so they could take in that experience. I'd already experienced all that, so it wouldn't be fair for me to go, "Okay, everybody, we gotta go." I let them stay and mingle and do everything, to just take an experience fully. It's like a cool thing to be able to travel all around like that, get paid for it, play music, man. It's like shit is so nothing in the world like that.
Nothing.
Mm.
What was the best practical joke that Prince ever played on you? Morris actually was at the celebration. He told a great one that I don't want to retell the whole story, but at the celebration, Morris was saying that he came into the room. This is, I guess, during the Triple Threat tour, and Prince had written on his mirror, I don't remember what the exact verbiage was, but something, "I can't wait to see you later tonight," with the little lips and everything, and put flower petals all over his bed. And so he got ready because he was like, we were on tour with Vanity and everything. So I didn't know who was going to show up. And then it was Prince that had actually done that. So he was
Actually, no, it wasn't. It was actually Jill Jones. So Morris didn't remember right. It was Jill Jones. We didn't know who it was, but Morris was like, "Can't look at these little draws. These could only be." And he was doing that type of thing, but it was like these little ass draws were hanging on his mirror because I was in the room next to him or something, but I kept going in his room and I said, "Morris, you know who it is?" And he was like, "No, man, I think it's such and such." But he was guessing it was one of our girls just trying to be funny, and it was because I'm like, them was either Susan's or Kent or Jill's little ass draws. I'm like, it's one of their ass. I know it is, and so I was right. So I think later on it finally. Because he sure was in the room like, "Morris, we get ready to go do this. You want to come?" No, he was waiting. Like, oh, man.
That's horrible.
But
He
what?
did a lot of crazy shit. One of the things he did to me, which I'm sure they already told you, but I did one to him where we stopped in Denver one day. So a ton of snow, almost up to your waist. But I used to never run outside. I always ran in the hallway up and down. I was like, hope nobody's on this floor. And you're always in some older, grand, beautiful hotel with a long ass hallway. So I would run up and down the hallways, a whole bunch of laps up down the hallway. But when for some reason in Denver, I had some family from the Quad Cities, which is Rock Island, Davenport, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to see them, but I knew that Denver had this dope ass hat. It's like if you ever see a video of Prince got this big hat on, this gray hat, that's my hat, and I had it on one time myself, and then he wore it and was like, "You need to donate this." And I'm like, "Excuse me, you're the one, Prince. I'm in the time, remember? I'm not donating shit." Anyway, you see him still wearing that hat. But I went to get this hat in Denver. So I'm walking, blah, 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 blah. I find that hat store and I buy this cool hat that I could barely afford, but it was dope. Get back to the hotel with that. But on my way back, they had this lady store with like because it was just stupid of me to do it, but I had to do it. What else was I gonna do? But they had this, like it's not even a big and tall store. It was just like size store. So I went in there and bought like a pair of drawers that you could put on the bumper of your car for a what are those things called? A bra?
The car bra?
The bra.
The
I just bought the biggest pair of drawers I could afford because they had bigger ones, but I couldn't afford them. I got this up to the size that I could afford. And that means if you stand in front of you and put your arms out in front of you, straight from parallel from your shoulders, and then move them out just a little bit, that's how big they were. So, and they were bloomers. They wasn't like no little cute shit. They was like the old school sexies. And so on, I think, what's the song? Let's Work. I'll work all night. Yeah, he says something at the end of Let's Work, right? He talks some sexy shit, some sassy shit or something at the end of Let's Work. I'll do something, what he'll do. I can't remember if it was that song or that. It was Let's Work, because I was going to think it was Private Joy, but it was Let's Work. So he puts the song, every night on that song. And so it was the last date of the tour. We're now on the last day. We're in Ohio. We're in, I think, Dayton or something, Ohio, because Roger Troutman's on the tour too. But the venue, this venue was like almost 20 feet in the air. It was way up there for some reason. I have no idea. But it was a big ass venue. So it was the last day and we was going to have a food fight and this, that, and the other. So Prince, every night he would do this thing. And he'd pull a, whatever he was saying, Let's Work, he would pull these little underwear out of his pocket and he would twirl them and I think throw them in the audience or something. So I go, yeah, I got his ass on this shit. So I took out them little cute drawers and put in them extra drawers. And he was on stage. I'm on the side of the stage. He's none the wiser. But he would pull those out all sexy, but he pulls these out and it's like a magician with the scarf. It's like that shit ain't never stopping. He's like, pull more, pull. And then when he just saw how much it was, he looked over at us like, man, he looked over at me like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. He was not, so he be fucking with you, but he ain't about the jokes if you do the jokes back to him. So, but I didn't care. I'm like, it's the last day of tour. What you gonna do? You can't fire me. I'm going home anyway. So I put them big ass drawers in there and he pulled this shit out. And then he pulled some more and he pulled some more. And for me, that shit had me crying. So I thought he would be, it would be funny to him too. And so he looks at me, and I'm standing on the side of the stage. I'm on the left hand side of the stage. So I'm like looking at him, I'm crying. I'm like, oh, I'm at the monitor board. I'm crying, and he's looking at us like, I will kill you. He's looking like that. Like it ain't no. And the more the madder he gets, the fuck, I'm gone even more. It's like that shit is so hilarious. When he made no play, he gave up no play. He was like, he's like mumbling shit through clenched teeth now. Now I'm on the floor. I'm behind the board. You can't even see me. I'm screaming, crying. So, because what he does, he pulls him and he stops, and then he just freezes there. He stops dancing. He's looking dead at me, and the song's playing and everything. So then he continues to pull him up, and then he holds him up, and the crowd just goes insane. And then I don't even know what, and he didn't even throw him. He like threw this shit back at the drums or something. And so he was really, really hot. So when we came off the stage, he had already did something. I just can't remember what it was. He already did something. And it might have been, no, we hadn't did the thing where they handcuffed me in their dressing room yet. They hadn't done that. See, they ended up handcuffing me to a coat rack. And they were all talking. His whole band, it was in there. He's talking smack. This is all the same day. And so the time is out in the hallway with garbage. They done took garbage, green bin bags, right? And they done cut a hole in it for the arms and the head. And they got the activator clear caps on. And they got those garbage bag things on like a suit. And they're beating on Prince's door. Boom, 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 boom. And this was when Big Chick and all of them there. So they don't open the door. And I'm like, and he's like, and Prince, I can't remember if they were throwing something at me. I can't remember. Anyway, I was like, okay. I'm like, just like, all right. And I yanked that shit really hard, and that whole rack came down because it was like some professional basketball player, locker room. And I yanked that shit off the wall. Boom, studs and everything. And they like, you ever seen roaches when you turn the light on?
Yeah.
They were running into each other. Across the walls. They were boom, boom, boom. And then the door, they had a fire door, which is a heavy door. Prince was running behind it. Bobby Z went through it, Matt. And then when Prince was busy looking back, you know how when on the monster movies, a person keeps looking back where you and I go, stop looking back, just run. Don't look back. That slows you, So he's looking back, and as the doors closing, he ran into the side of that door. I thought he killed himself, man, because he hit that shit hard, and then he just slid around it before he closed. But when I saw him hit the door, I was like chasing him, and he's like, bam! And I was like, ooh, don't leave this fool. Oh, man, I hope he's all right. But I go out, and I unlock the door, and the time is standing there like an army with all green garbage bags on and juice hats. And I think the only one that didn't, because he was the cameraman filming everything, was Jam. Jimmy was a little more dignified than that. Jimmy was like, I would not partake in such foolishness. Jimmy had that kind of thing, but those are the things that when I remember the band, I always remember stuff like that, because it was to be that age and be on a major label, and not just on a label, but really have some hot ass records and have some success and shit right out the gate. And then to do it again, the second record went gold in 5 weeks. It was like so fast to us. We hadn't even rehearsed yet. We was like, yeah, when that record, boom, and it was like, damn. We was just on and on and on. And that's why Jamie Shoup said, don't quit. I know this is getting to you, but don't quit, because she said, do 3 records. And all 3 records will be successful. You'll be able to go do whatever you want in the world, because you have that talent. You have the talent. And you do thank her every day for saying, because sometimes it just takes somebody to believe in you like that. And otherwise, because you yourself sometimes can't sing and see it, just like working on these songs here. I was telling friends, when I have somebody come, I'll have a girl or two come over and listen to something, and they'll listen to something on a new record and they'll cry. But I don't say anything. I just go, would you listen to this? And I leave the room, and I put a nice set of cans on them or turn up the speakers or whatever and whatnot. listen to it, and you just want to see. You don't tell them anything. You just go listen. Just, to let me know how you feel. And I leave the room, and I come back, and they're in tears. And so then I know that person isn't that type of person. Then a friend of mine, listened to a ballad that I'd written for the rock album, and he heard it on the phone and started crying. Because I'm telling you, the lyrics the lyrics do belong to us. When I say that, ladies, I'm talking about there's nobody writing any vulnerable songs for us. And what you guys will love about the song of which I speak is that it's shows a man vulnerability. The man he's not only hurt, he's broken, but he is struggling because one of the licks in the song say something so profound that people, men would never say it. But I've heard people say, I hate you, but you never hear anybody say what the truth is. The truth is like, you can't, sometimes in certain situations, you can't hate that person enough if you didn't love them more. And it's a fucked up thing, but everybody's been there. Everybody's been there. And it's so uncomfortable for men to talk about it or to acknowledge it and all that stuff. Because and the reason why I wanted to write something like that is because, number one, I don't write morose songs, like shit that makes you depressed. Everything with me, I'm either trying to lift you, elevate you, or take you out of a space into another space that's might speak pain, but there's a resolution to it. And it's almost like when you cry, you actually bawl your eyes out, but then when you're done, you feel a relief that you didn't know you were gonna feel. And so these songwriting songs like that. Plus, I'm experimenting rather with some other things. You familiar with? I think it's esophageal frequencies and things like that. I'm doing a lot of things where I'm tuning a certain way so the song it connects with you emotionally. I know it sounds weird, but I would love to when you guys hear it, because I'm trying to figure out when I'm all done. I got to do a listening thing here and invite people. And I will, and I just got to find the right.
Yeah, keep my number.
I think I have the right venue, but I want people to come and lock up their things, but really hear it. And I think I'm gonna have to go to a recording studio because I really wanted to hear it proper. And
it makes total sense. And with the band that I had, we tuned all of our instruments to 432 hertz and played that way. And there's so many other frequencies in tuning, so it makes sense.
Yeah, Robin Trower is almost like that. And then Hendrix, in the latter part of his career, he was always E flat, and then in the latter part of his career, he just was always D, all the way down a whole step all the time. Because that's why Robin Trower does it, because Hendrix did it on Machine Gun, and so that's what sucked it. And then what made him so fucking brilliant is that he's talking. Yeah, Michigan 1. He hits the little E at the octave, ping, but he hits it at E flat instead of E. He hits a little E, ping. Then he tunes, and he's talking, and he tunes the whole guitar down another half step to make it all the way down to D, and then he does a Machine Gun. Just absolutely brilliant cat, man. Just brilliant.
Now, was Hendrix like familiar with the actual frequency, or was he just naturally going there? Because
I'm gonna tell you something freaky about Hendrix. Listen to remember that movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes, of course. Great.
Listen to the movie, okay? First, listen to towards the end of Machine Gun. There's a part of Machine where he goes boom, 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 boom. They do that shit in Encounters of the Third Kind. The spaceship does that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he actually was familiar with the actual, like the 432 hertz frequency.
No, but listen to that weird. Listen to this connection. He went bow down down wah wah on his guitar, and then when this movie came out years later, Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Richard Dreyfuss. Go look at that. No, when they're talking to the spaceship with these tones, then the spaceship out of nowhere, and I always wondered if the dude was like a Jimi Hendrix fan, because he goes boo-doo-doo, boo-doo. Same thing that Hendrix played. And that's the whole thing with some of us are just from a different, because my biggest fucking problem is I need to develop I don't know if I need to develop it, but I respect myself. But I just don't do a lot of things for money, and people always want to make me feel, bad, or I'm doing something wrong for not doing things for money. Meaning, do them only for money. I can't do things only for money. I gotta
Right.
love the things that I'm doing. It can be I can be playing country. I can be doing anything as long as it's music. That's why I work on a lot of different things because I have my ears are that big. But I
Mhm.
I love the what do I think people I don't know if people know about frequencies like that. And it's weird when your band was you said a number of, does that mean a whole step or a half step down?
Well, 432 is it's more of in between, but it's a half step down,
So instead of your E is a E flat.
kind of. But it's more of a it's a solfeggio. It's one of the solfeggio frequencies. So
Oh, it is. Oh,
it's the
okay. Yeah,
frequency of the
there you
earth.
have it. I know a lot of, and people don't know that a lot of metal guys do that too. And
Right.
and that's why I worked on a movie one time. And when you hear that shit come across the bridge, when the young bikers break out and start their own gang and they ride across that bridge the first time, that was something I assembled, but it's pieces
Mm.
of Metallica. It's a Metallica session, and it's Ja Rule was in New York, and they put over the ISDN lines back in the day, and then they threw the whole thing in my lap and go, man, put this together and make this make sense. So when you watch Biker Boys, the movies Biker Boys, when they first come across that bridge, that and that's a track that I put together
Yes.
as Metallica and Ja Rule, and I just cut all the guitars up and made them do something different. But what made it so educational for me, I saw how they were dropping their big E would go all the way down, as y'all probably already know, go down a whole step. So or just turn it into a
D. Yep.
D
D
so that
tune.
you
Yep.
can just play all of that stuff with two fingers.
Yeah, King's X
I,
style.
and I have
That's
that
drop
on my
tuning. Yeah.
record too. I have that on my record as well, the new record.
Yeah, King's X used to do lots of that D tuning where it's just like just like growls.
That's because them and Metallica and a lot of the I think the band is called Helmet. They're fucking amazing. They're on Oh, I love that band. They were the band. I don't know how to say them, but the band called Kruggen or something like that.
Not sure.
Huh? No, it's a guy on guitar, girl on bass, and this drummer, and they just incredible. Krugben, I think that's how you say their name. Krugben.
Oh yeah. No, I knew who you're talking about. Now I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh my God, I wanted to marry that bass player, but I think I'm too old for her. But love her to death. But I love that band though. They're just, and the brother on the drums, he never moves. No matter what is going on, he just just be killing it. And the guitar player is so creative, man. He's so creative in what he does with that. It's a brilliant band. It's a brilliant band. I was always a B-52 fanatic. The guitar player, I thought the guitar player was Jesus Christ. His name is Ricky Wilson. And if you go listen to Give Me Back My Man and all that. Guy was phenomenal. I was so into him that when I came to Minneapolis, I bought a Mosrite, a 1966 purple Mosrite guitar in 81. Bought it at Nude Coupe, and I was writing, and that's where I wrote. There's two songs on the album from those days that I have the cassette from the 4-track that I wrote, Bite the Beat. Bite the Beat. I wrote all that song, the lyrics and all that. Prince just changed the word to, I forget what I was saying. I wasn't saying bite. He just changed the word from bop to bite. I can't remember what I was saying. I was saying something to me that makes no sense to me. Like, wasn't saying bite, but all the words are the same except for he just added a bite. He changed one word from whatever it was to bite. And I don't remember what I was saying. It's on the original that I have here, but I have every cassette going back to like 78, 79. I
got a
everything
question
from 81.
If you can see the screen, whatever happened to these guys to crash?
Oh, I don't know. They just parted ways. They were on Capitol. They were under two names. They don't. I think the guitar player is still playing in his own band in St. Louis called Dirty Mugs or something like that. And I
I was
don't
just
know where
surprised
anybody
that
else is.
I was just surprised that album didn't take, because that was a really strong album, considering the placement of it just was perfect with everything that was going on
Well,
musically.
it's I don't know. It's I don't know. It's like my record at A&M really didn't have a chance because A&M were really bad in the black record department. They were terrible. They were awful. They were the best distribution um, ring out there at the time, and probably still is. There was more vast than anybody's. Was CBS was. Forget about
Mhm.
it. And then you'd have to say maybe Warner Brothers, but CBS, their distribution stream was sick. I mean, you'd be in the middle of the desert somewhere in Mexico and walk into a restaurant where the Cokes are still really short in the green bottle, but you go to the jukebox, it'll have a bunch of music you don't know, but guess what was on that? Billie Jean. Billie Jean was on that shit though. Because there, I'm telling you, in the same thing in the desert, man, over the water, you not who would be in there? Would be Prince in there? Nope. But Michael Jackson was though.
Yeah, I believe that too. What about Tamara and the Scene? I actually
Yeah.
saw her for the first time. I never got an opportunity to see Margie do her thing, but we actually got a
Mhm.
chance to see her at Bunkers during the celebration, and she actually sang "Everybody Dance" with the band. So I was just like, huh, okay. So
And while we're talking about that, one of our listeners is Terry Jones asked a question. Terry Orlando. He actually wanted to know something. This is about the brain of Jesse Johnson. Um, with Tamara and the Scene, what was the song? What was the process for that album? Like,
Um, I had a lot of those songs. I had written sketches of them, and I just never recorded them. I had sketches of them, but I really wanted to get on the Vanity Six record. I really wanted to get something really that had the like Nasty Girls was funky, so I wanted to get something else. So songs like "Thinking About You" and "Everybody Want to Dance." I had those songs, but just in kind of like little sketches on a guitar and you hitting on a magazine or something. But I had sketches of that stuff all the time, and but I even some of the stuff that's on my very new rock thing were written back then, and they're better songs than "Bite the Beat." But it was a weird. You had to move a certain way around Prince. Like you couldn't give Prince stuff that was too good, and I didn't know that. And I learned that from Morris because I never knew anything about. Because when Prince met me, I told the story about how he came over, blah blah blah, and I said, "You want me to plug in and play?" And he was like, "No, I like the way you look." But I didn't know that at the time he had already heard me play. But he had heard me play from Morris. Played him. Morris Day played him something that I played. He played them. He played them. I know what it was. He played them where I was doing I was playing with Enterprise. That's what it was. And so he took the cassette of the live show. He took the cassette and he cut out parts and pieces. Like Prince never heard me solo on anything. He never heard that. He just heard me playing rhythm. And so it wasn't until like I think what year did that Condensate come out?
2008. I want to say it's
No, it was
2000.
late. I think it was later than that. It was later. I think it was late. It was
Yeah.
later. It was later because Verbal was out. But I didn't know Morris had did that until that time. Whenever we were doing it, we were at the Grammy Museum, and and uh and I said, the first guy that stood up, the first
2000,
question, which one? What year is it? 2000?
2011.
Yes, yeah, I thought it was later than that. Yeah, so we're at the Grammy Museum, and they had to like stop everything before we started and empty the room, and then because somebody couldn't get in, so they called the fire department. Oh, there's 2 more people, and And so the fire department came, made everybody leave, and then brought people back in and counted them, blah, blah, blah. So we finally did it. So this guy, he was really taller, gentleman, black, light skin, but he was really yoked up, like seriously muscled up. And he's like, and he was the first question they gave a mic to this dude, and he was like the Rock, built like that. He was like, "This first question is for Jesse." And I was like, "Oh God, why me?" And this dude,
No.
why me? Why me? He goes, "This first," because he had attitudes. He was like, "Man, he said, this first question is for Jesse Johnson." I was like, "Damn, here we go." And I said, I really said, "Damn, here we go." And he said, Prince is a bad motherfucker on guitar, and blah, 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 blah. And he said, "But I ain't never seen nobody as bad as that motherfucker right there, you." And I was like, "You God." They go out there and fight this big ass dude, because I know ain't none of these cats gonna help me. I was like, God. But that's what he wanted to say. So that was the very first question of the night. And it was just kind of an eye-opener for me a little bit, because people, they had a lot of interest in Morris and I, Morris and I, than anybody else. They had a lot of interest in all that said and done. So I don't know. But I did see people were telling me about your questions. You had some really great ones there.
Hey, we got a bunch of them that people that you've been starring. Why don't you pick one out, Jeff?
Again, let's go back to, and I was curious about this too. Back in your producer mindset, somebody had asked me, what was your when you worked on with the Lynn drum machine? What was your style? Like, what was your how did you come out with a lot of the rhythms that you came out with when you were in production using the Lynn drum machine? That's another Terry.
Well, I didn't use it. I didn't use it that much.
You use it that much?
I had all three of them in there because I'm bored. I'm easily bored. If I hear the same sound, guitar, drums, whatever it may be, I can't. I'm not inspired. So I had the Lynn drum. I had the Lynn drum in there, and I was pulling prongs out of there and changing the sounds. I had the Lynn drum. At one time I had the Lynn drum, the LM1, the Oberheim drum machine. I forget what that one's called. And then I switched them up where I had the Prince bought he wanted to buy my LM1 so I couldn't make sounds on it anymore. So I put some price on it that was just outrageous, hoping it to deter him from wanting it. And he was like, "I'll take it." He's like, "Sold." I'm like, "Yeah, take this shit. I could care less. I don't care about that machine." And plus I might record with that machine because it has a dope ass feel to it, but so does my Lynn 9000, which later became my 4-at 9000. So those things had a better even swing than the Lynn drum, and we're also 12-bit as opposed to I think they were 8-bit. I don't even think they made it to it, because this had a better sound, but the feel was the same. You had that real drummer feel and all that stuff. So I still had the whatever that Oberheim one, because like songs like Fiction. Diction. All you really need. That's the Oberheim drum machine. And then like Love Struck, that's the Lynn drum. That's that little square Lynn drum. I just would change. I change the sounds when we mix. Keith Cohen and I would change the sounds when we mix. So that's why we didn't really care what the sounds were. We wasn't using any of those sounds. You just wanted the feel of that machine and not the sounds. But I used those. I had the Lynn drum, the 9000, and the Oberheim. I had those three drum machines, and so I can tell like crazy. That's the Oberheim drum machine. Crazy is that's the Oberheim drum machine, because I had that too where I could pull the prongs, and this guy named Roger. He had a music store called Roger Dodgers, a keyboard, and he would burn prongs for the sounds for everybody. But yeah, I'm not kind of stuck on one anything, because I think it's boring to do that. And plus, when you produce people, it shouldn't be about your sound per se. Because Prince and I used to argue about that a lot too. It should be about what the artist wants. We already have our thing that we're doing. Our sound can have our thing in it. So if you working with another artist, you kind of really trying to do something to bring their sound out and how they, how they sing and how they this and that and so forth and so. But it's really about the other artists.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of other artists, what was it like working with Sly Stone with Crazy?
The is a funny story because I could lie and go, man, I'm so brilliant at what I do and bloop de blop de blop de blue, and it would all be bullshit. But for in real life, because I actually really do think it's sacrilege to take credit for something you didn't do. But I know I wrote that song. It was a long story short. John McClain was the A&R head of A&R at A&M. He was my A&R person on that record. But I recorded only in Minneapolis. I never recorded out here. And so he would fly in when I say I was done, then he would fly in. This is before I mixed or anything. He'd fly in and he knew how I cut because I own my own studio. So I'm not gonna cut 6 songs, 12 songs because it's I'm just gonna kind of keep cutting till I get the cream of the crop and then pick from there. And so I'm gonna cut way more songs than I'm actually gonna blah blah blah. So I played him, he said, play me the album, and I played him the whole album and stuff. I got really nice studio, Minneapolis, Westlake audio monitors, just beautiful. He sits there and he goes, nice record. You got a nice record. Now he goes, now play me the stuff you don't like. And I was like, oh man. And one of those songs I didn't like and wasn't on the album was Crazy. It was crazy.
Wow.
Crazy was on it. And it was just like you heard it. It's just I'm singing it all the way through because I hadn't really, it was just kind of, I think I want to feel you. But I was just messing around. And so he heard that and out of nowhere, God is my witness. He goes, oh man, I'm gonna take this to LA. I'm gonna take this to LA. I'm gonna put Sly on this. And I don't know how he heard all this stuff. And I go, no, John, let's not do that. If you're gonna do that, man, let's let me write something, around that. He goes, no, this is perfect. I can hear it. Man, listen to that. He get whatever he was hearing, I couldn't hear it. But sometimes in life you kind of have to. There's these times I did it twice. One time it didn't work. The second time, which was crazy, it worked brilliantly. But he said, I'm gonna take this back to LA and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put Sly on it. Da, 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 da. So when I heard Crazy, it sounded like what you heard when you heard it the first time. So they sent it back to me. I wasn't in LA when they did it or anything. It's like a brother named Billy Valentine. He recorded Sly's vocal. He's the one that recorded the vocal on Sly on my song. And then John McClain kind of put the whole thing. He did put the whole thing together, idea wise, and all of that. And then Steve Hodge mixed it. And I don't know if Steve was one of the last albums Steve Hodge mixed before he moved to Minneapolis to work exclusively for Flight Time. So when Steve Hodge did his thing, what I don't know is if Steve picked how the vocals went or John, I don't remember. But somebody picked where Sly sings this part and I sing this part. Somebody picked it because there was a bunch of different versions of it. And the one that came out was the best one. Because there was one where Sly sings it from top to bottom. And there's one that I sing from top to bottom. And neither one of them were magic, except for that one that came out. And whoever put the vocal pieces together like that was absolutely brilliant. But I know Steve did mix it though.
Wow.
And Billy Valentine got that vocal on Sly. It was absolutely brilliant. And what they did for Sly slowed the tape way down. He VSO'd it way down. It was like I think I want to feel you. And he, Sly's voice is so deep that when they pop it back to speed, it doesn't sound weird at all.
Wow.
That's unusual. That's crazy.
That is.
Wow. So, Prince did, he modeled his band after Sly and the Family Stone. Did he ever give you a nod for, being able to work with Sly, even though, in the capacity that you...
If I told you that story, it sounds like I'm lying, and I'm not lying. That's why and my book is audio, by the way, so it's all in my voice. That's why it takes forever, because recording a book is like recording 30 albums, man. Anyway,
it's a lot.
Prince never complimented me. The one compliment I got from Prince, he was obviously wasted. He sounded like he was at Carlos and Charlie's. It was before cell phones, and I used to have a phone hanging in the kitchen. in the house and when I lived the opposite of everybody. I lived out in an area called Blaine and Andover. I was wherever they were that direction, I was extremely opposite the other direction, like I was in another city or town somewhere, which I was. But nevertheless, he called me one time and he was really what's the word? He was tilted or something. He was playing. He was out in LA. I was in Minneapolis, and I answered the phone because it was before caller ID. So you don't know who's calling you till you pick the phone up. So I picked the phone up, and he was really close to the phone, and it sounded like this was like Jesse. He was like, it was like Jesse. Craziest the baddest shit I've ever heard, and hung up. That was it. I swear to God, on the stack of Bibles, it's the only compliment. Because it really
Well,
pained him to give a compliment to me. It really pained him.
the rest of the world believed that too. That song
And
was
no. But he wasn't. But people, because I heard the questions about Prince being jealous and anything like that, and it was not a. Prince is not a jealousy. Prince thing was that he was 24. He was a 24-hour
work.
I'm not. So I don't. When you're not in that mindset, you don't really. It's not relate to the mindset. I don't pay attention to it. And it's like a lot of things that were vitally, vitally, vitally important to him were never important to me. Because he's like would say, McLean, who's a dear friend of mine, John McLean would say to me, would get mad and say, man, that starving artist shit is getting old. And Prince would say the same thing, man, I guess you're just gonna be a star. I said, I'm not starving. I said, I just don't need as much as y'all need. Not at all. I really don't. I'm a Midwest kid. My mind is always, I don't even know how to act when there's no season changes, when it's not raining, snow, leaves turning brown. I'm like, that's why I don't fit in LA at all. LA is like, it's like I just got in from the Iowa cornfields and landed in 1970 Times Square. Just like, oh my God, what is going on? So, yeah, for me, it's really, I try to almost have my life where I can keep it aimed at music and not be, and now that you got all your, your baby's grown and out the door, it's like, I'm doing my thing now.
Well, it's time because what about now? What about what's next? And this is why I'm asking, because you said this is going to be your last R&B, and then you're talking
I
about
know that's why it's very packed. And it's not packed with, because I always tell people when you listen to the Time records, our R&B is a little oblique. It's always been a little like I would think our record sounds so black. I'd be like, man, our shit is. Then Zap would come on, more bounce would come on. You'd be like, oh, I guess our shit ain't that black, man. It's a little. Got some little water over here. There's a little cream paste, it's over here. And I, for real, I used to go when you only hearing your own shit, you're like, oh, our stuff is really, no, it's not.
Right. So what about next year? And the reason I'm saying that is you're saying this is the end, but next year is the 40th.
Yeah,
the 40th of Jesse Johnson's Revue. And
babe, let me tell you what's going on. Next year, because I just told somebody that today, and I will anything once this is out of the way. A lot of the things that I'm talking about making happen, I can make them happen. I made them happen before. I can make them happen again. As I was just telling somebody today, when those summer months come next year, I want to play every prison we can. I want to play girls, female prisons, male. I want to play prisons, man. We bring some music because I used to do that way before I ever came to Minneapolis. We would go. And it could be a little dodgy because you got to sign all this stuff where they say if some shit go down, you're on your own. Like, what?
Bring your own bananas.
Yeah, and it's like, But I just think that I always thought that was a cool thing because I want to spend my life really, really, really no more studio stuff. This studio stuff is just enough already. I'm bringing some really beautiful music to the table, and I'm even an album back of. Still got to play stuff live on Verbal, and a lot of the stuff that was being put together, these albums and so forth and so on, and the book and all that stuff, because I had met with investors in 2022, summer 2022, because I was working when I was in the Bay on April. When I was in the Bay, I I was trying things, verbally. I was trying things and moving the show a little bit different than I did before. And the things that I tried worked. And the reason why I was trying and testing some of these things and saying a little bit more dialogue than usual is because I was working on an off-Broadway show that tells my whole history, but it tells it through music. So you have a full band. I don't know if y'all ever remember when Whoopi Goldberg who used to do her one-woman
The
show
one person show, the one,
in the
yeah,
very beginning. She was just fucking brilliant. She was so beautifully brilliant.
brilliant stuff.
And so that's what I was kind of telling my thing, but instead of a lot of yip yap, he goes, yeah, when I do this thing, da, 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 and then all of a sudden the band goes, "Bip, bip, 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 bam, down, down," and you just tell the story how this, and my book is like that. That's what y'all don't understand. It's the book talks about the things, like I'm going to gather up a lot of things that I find out that come to me in these podcasts that people are asking. That's why I'm always interested in what people are asking, because I want to see what it tells me what they're interested in regarding myself. So, or even as it relates to others, I still would like to know. So, but yeah, no. It's gonna be next year. I want to be performing all the time. I want to be performing. I want to be over the waters and here. If I had my druthers, I would go there first and come back here in the fall. But because I like to burn it's a different mindset here. It's totally both places. It's a different mindset.
Yeah.
It's like, sadly, across the water, no one takes you for granted. America's a lot of time like, we can be a lot of times like this. Man, so and so and so and so is going to be coming here. Really? Oh man, I love him. I love her, man. She's incredible. And then the day comes and she's there, and then you go, man, you gonna go to this thing? So, oh no, I'm gonna catch her. I'm gonna catch her. She come through the next time. That's America. Right. They don't do that. They don't do that there. They're there because they don't know when, if ever, that person's gonna be here again, because it's not in their backyards. And it's a different level of appreciation. And anybody that's there and here can tell you the difference.
It just amazes me how many things you've been in, because I'm looking at the chat room here, which there's hundreds of people here, and I'm looking at some of these songs that they're saying that you're on, and that I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show when I showed this massive stack of albums that I have here. That's all you, because I was like a hardcore everything Jesse collective. I mean, everything from Wendy and Lisa.
That's why. But all the people that love me and my family, they kind of go screw him, because they get mad at me because they always say I don't know how to take a compliment. So no, I didn't see any of that stuff.
Well, I mean, I was showing.
Well, you'll take it tonight. Compliment.
I was showing these albums here.
Some of my upbringing, man. People, they make you weird about shit that you shouldn't be weird about. But I'm overly humble in how I move, I think, because of my upbringing. So, well,
if you look at the screen,
very grateful, man.
Look at the screen. This is all you. This is all you that I'd gathered, and not even that. I mean, even from Blueberry Gossip and Sue Ann's Blue Velvet and Wendy and Lisa's Fruit at the Bottom. I mean, I just have everything. But I'm looking at some of these things that Alexandra O'Neill's Hang On. You're on that. Three Shades Down with Kim Cage. DeBarge, You Wear It Well. I mean, there's so many songs that you've done that I don't even know it's even documented. It's unusual.
No, I don't remember. But that's why I wasn't keeping my everybody's like think I'm tripping, because I'm giving away as prizes every award that I have, and Grammy and gold and platinum and I'm giving everything away, and they just think I'm crazy. And it's like yo, first of all, I'm not carrying that stuff everywhere I go in the world. Number two, let it go to somebody that it means something to, or even if it means nothing to them and they want to sell it to somebody that means something, whatever. Point is, let it reach the hands of somebody that it matters to. And even in that whole selling thing, when people reach a certain plateau, the person of this number will get this guitar. I mean, that's major to me, and I think it's really cool. And I would just love to see the people, but everybody's almost getting something, because I have like 3-4 big tubs of just everything. It might be matchbooks to say my name on. It could be anything, but I'm not saying what it is. You just will get something.
Wow.
You'll get something that personally came from me. But the bigger ones is when your buyer number, 6,000, you'll get this gold album or something. It's a lot of that stuff.
Wow.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
Well,
Like
you don't have to give it to me, but if you just allow me to play one of your guitars on stage, I would be more than blown away.
That's a lot of guitar people ask me. They'll say, so what do you got, like 80 guitars? Like, I go, no. I'm like, what would I do with 80 guitars? Because in all honesty, I'm not a collector like that of that kind of stuff. I buy a guitar that I really dig a lot, and then I'll use it on a record or a tour, and then after that, I can't really play it again. It's like I can't gel with it. But the diamond ones, I have the white one, the black one, and the gold one. Those are like really my main things. And then there's a black Les Paul that's like that, and then there's a
What about these? You
two
still have
SGs.
these?
Yes.
There's two SGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the gold one. That's the silver one.
Yes.
I always thought those are actually done to the shape of my hand, so that's why I can play those without even thinking about it. And then it been played so much, and it was really rare. I never use the same guitars that I use on stage in the studio, but the gold and the silver and the black, I do. And my SGs, I use them a lot too. And for the first time, I never liked, like, Prince borrowed one of my guitars without asking me, but he just went and grabbed a guitar out of rehearsal and to play 7/7. And that's why you never heard a guitar sound like how 7/7 sound again. It's this really cheap, like seriously, like $100 Hondo. It's like, it looks like it's a white Stratocaster, but it's a Hondo. And it was like $120, $150 when I bought it and came to Minneapolis with it. And then I think I took the pick guard and glued like some animal hair print or something. But that's why 7/7 sounds so dry. It sounds good, but it sounds dry, and there's no ringing because that guitar played weird like that. But I played it on stage with the time and on the very first tour.
What about your go-to pedals? What's I think I had one here. Well, no, let's see, it was the other way. Yeah, I don't know what this one was. Dumbloid. What you go?
That's from a gentleman in Japan. That's dope. I use that in the studio. I don't have that on stage, but I do use that on a few records. My main stuff, I'm looking at my pedal bar. My rig is a Bob Brashaw custom audio rig. It's mine has been bumped up to hold quite a few things because the issue is sometimes when you have when you got more than one record and a record has certain sound, like the new trust me, the new stuff is got sounds on it.
Cannot wait.
Can't wait. I gotta modify the pedal board. But the way Bradshaw's rig is the way mine is designed, because he used to want to design it a certain way, and I said, you can't design mine like that. I said, because those other guys that they're talking about, they don't have to step or dance or anything, so they can just stand there and step on things. So mine is designed where you can turn on 10 pedals just by pushing one button. And so I can have 3 or 4 things going, wow, but then I can turn it all off just with one button. Just when it's time to sing, I hit that, bam. And I have the whole, Bob did the whole pedal board. It's absolutely beautiful. And the mic stand, the microphone's made onto it.
Oh.
But it costs a lot though, like 14
grand
or something when you include what's cool about my power source on it, what's really dope about my power source, it has a voltage selector on it. So I just change the cord coming out of it every time in different countries, and I don't have to run it through a generator or nothing.
Wow. So this new album, vinyl?
Yes, that was another question we've been seeing floating. Is this gonna be available on vinyl? That's a great question.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Nice.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, he goes.
Okay, good. My order's in.
No, it's not. I don't know if it's going to come out later because what they're gonna do, it's gonna because this new record, it's not coming in. It's not coming at you antiquated at all. It's a lot of bread been spent on my part to. This record's coming to you 24-bit 96K and 24-bit 192.
Oh wow. Oh,
So the
okay.
files are ginormous and it's beautiful. But the sound of it, you'll have the same sound as though you're sitting in the studio next to me. Because everything isn't, antiquated CD shit, 16-bit 40 for one. You don't want to hear. When you make your music for this high def thing, because that's why I couldn't listen to a CD of verbal, because it has to get dithered down. Verbal was even recorded 24-bit 48K, but it gets lost. I think there's one store called it's some high def store for all high def files. I remember buying Black Messiah on there, and Black Messiah sounds like it does when you're sitting next to D'Angelo listening to it in the studio, but the CD sounds awful. But when we were in Europe, we kept seeing weird, like small 33s. We just saw some really cool shit of his record over there, but none of that was in the States though.
Mm.
I don't know
What
why
was
any of this was in.
What was the
Black Messiah? It was just like, it looks like a 12-inch, but it's small. Just was like a 12. It was like a 12-inch, but it was little. It wasn't a full 12-inch. It almost looked like how the old 78s look. It was that size.
Wow. Did you mix in Atmos also? Did you play with that at all?
That's the the person that I'm working with closely with that, he's really, really brilliant with it too, is Dweezil Zappa.
Yeah.
And so that's why my site is down. There's no need of having it up because I'm not doing anything on it. But the site is all being redesigned. It's being redesigned by the time the campaign starts and stuff. That's where you'll order everything is, because a campaign's going to run, I think, worldwide for like 2 to 3 months. It's going to run hard because I'm advertising it hard because I want to get certain numbers done so I can move a certain way. And I really am not kidding. I don't want to be where somebody, like has control over where I'm trying to play. I don't like that.
Right.
And I really don't like it today because they tend to put you in that shoebox and go, oh, you're like, no, I'm not. You're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not. Huh?
I said you never have been.
Exactly.
No, but they see skin color and judge from that. So I'm like, no, I don't fit in with them. But you want to put them in us, we're gonna be loud. So bring them.
Any idea around the time frame? Can you like Q4, Q1 of next year, Q2? Yeah.
You know what? I hope, in all honesty, I hope everything is put together and ready to go at the top right after the first.
Okay.
I really do, because I'm just want to get this thing moving, because I really don't. I'll continue to play dates, but once that campaign ends, then I'll stop everything, come home, retool, and you got to put together a whole new show because it's got to involve. I need songs from Bare My Neck. So well, I do those already, but I need songs from Verbal. I need a few things from Verbal that I love to play, and I need got to go through really 2 records, possibly 3, since I have a female with a beautiful voice in the band as well. That's why I might even have her do some of the stuff off the 3rd one. But yeah, it's gonna be. I wish you guys could secretly come here and hear it, because you will never say anything to me about it other than all you probably might say to me is when you see how much work it is, you'll say, man, I'll be glad when you're done. You'll probably just say that. Because I'm telling you, people, I'm not, me, I'm not a bragging person, and I'm not bragging now, but I'm just telling you, it's really magic. If I do what I'm supposed to do, it's going to be pure fire. And I know I'm just telling you for a fact, I'm just, it's very, very, it's very sexy, but not in that kind of a way, not in like, because I'm saying something nasty or nothing. I'm not doing anything like that, but it's very sexy though.
I'm looking forward to the set list when you do finally start touring. The last time I got an opportunity to see you was in Atlanta, that hilarious show.
Just so you know, they are working they're working on New York, Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, Chicago. God, I can't remember. New York, Atlanta, Chicago, LA, and it
This
was
was a
some
set
two
list that
other
you.
places. Oh, I think
This was
Philly
a
and
set list that you gave me. You gave me this set list, and I was like, "This is an amazing friggin' set list. This is like all over the place." And I was just like, "Man, they should just do this set list like all the time."
I don't think that was a set. I think that what I was doing was just calling out. Um, I do a lot of audibles on stage because I come from such a regimented, this song right here every night, that song, and so that kind of really kind of shakes me. I don't like that. I don't like because I don't know. I don't even. That's why I'd rather every night say this. Have an intro, but then this intro might lead into this song tonight. It might lead it. Things like that. So I
Yeah.
want it to be different because a lot of the places I'm going to be playing 2 shows. Most of the places that I'm playing, I'm trying to play two shows.
Well, that was a really different show, anyways. There was like what? 20?
Yeah, but that wasn't a show. Like I think I talked to you that night. I told you I was really disturbed by it. I wanted to, yeah.
That was the quote unquote snowstorm.
Yeah, they never told us anything till we landed here because I wouldn't have came in if I knew that it was like that. I'm like, that was a waste of everybody's time and money.
It was great. It was a great show.
There we go.
That's got a big Hendrix feel to it.
We stay quiet when you start playing, right? That's just automatic.
Wish you could hear it a little bit better with the guitar a little bit better, but it's great.
Yeah. You should give everybody one nice little solo or something.
Y'all gotta hit me with some of those babies questions they were asking me that they won't answer. Let me answer those questions.
I meant to ask you. I meant to say this too when we were talking the other night on the phone. You were asking me about Mark Cardenas, and I wanted to show you. This is his album, 206 Rib Shack Orchestra, is what the name of his band is. 206 Rib Shack Orchestra. And it's on vinyl. It's and it's red vinyl too.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to give him a ring and tell him to send you one. But you asked about
how's he doing?
He's doing great. Band's doing well.
It sounds like that. It was good to hear that too.
Yeah, he's doing fantastically well. All right, so let's look at some of these questions because I know we're way over. Anthony Richardson wanted to know if you and Prince ever worked on a project, just the two of you together, that may be in the vault somewhere.
Not on purpose, but we did work on some stuff together that we did work on together that it disappeared and it wasn't out there anymore. And I kept asking him, where's my stuff at? But I never got it. So we inadvertently, I guess you could say, we worked on something together.
We did it.
Yeah, we did. We did, but I just forgot about that. But it was a Tamara. We started recording her together, and I wrote this song that was so cool. And Prince played the keyboard solo on it, had like a Farfisa solo. And then we came out to work. We came out to work on it one night, and all the tapes were gone. And I was like, Prince, where are the tapes? Prince, where are the tapes? And he was just acting like he couldn't hear me. So I just left. And I asked her, you going with me or are you staying? And she said, oh, I'm going to stay. And I was like, okay. All right.
I don't know what this question means, but it's from 704 Joe. Because at the end of the song "Affection," what did it mean?
What did it say?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I was looking up.
He doesn't
realize that was in 1872. He's got to give some specifics, bro, because I have no idea what the.
John Wesley Payne said, curious why Jesse never signed with Interscope with John McClane after finishing his deal at A&M.
Because I never wanted to be near a label ever again in my life, and I'm not kidding you. And I've had offers, and people will say, "Oh no, he hasn't," but yes, I have. And the thought of them owning your master for 27 years, you'll be dead, and I'll still be owning it. So no, that's why I never signed with anybody. You know who I was supposed to sign with on Interscope? I bet you he didn't know this. I was going to sign with Dr. Dre and Suge wanted to sign. They wanted to sign the Bare My Naked Soul record.
Oh, wow.
Really? That would have been nice.
That would have been interesting.
No, but here was a deal breaker. They wanted to sign the Bare My Naked Soul record. And I kept saying, it's done, though. It's done. And John said, I know, but they want to just put some, Dre want to put keyboards and stuff. And I go, no, it's not that kind of record, man. It's done. It's done. So that's why I didn't do it.
That would have been crazy. That probably would have been good marketing for sure.
Yeah, but I don't care about that shit.
Yeah, I get it. It's your
I'm too hard-headed and stubborn for that. I'm like, I'd rather fail all day long on my own merit than can't get through the door unless I got 400 other people on the shit too. I don't get it. Right. I don't get that anymore.
Changes
I
the
know
feeling.
That's the new way that they do thing, and people ask me that even with. I was working on verbal. I can get so and so and so and so to be on this with you. She'll do a verse. I'm like, no, I'm good. So I'm good. I'm not thinking about radio at all.
Right.
I am not the radio, not terrestrial, because
that's bullshit.
They lost their minds.
Right.
Web Rod asked Jesse, did he really write the Belle of St. Mark on Sheila Eve's album?
How did he know that? Where did you get that? Can you ask him where you got that from?
Web Rod, where did you get that information? It's in. Let's see if he goes dark when we ask.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's funny. I played Prince's song. This is a true story. Plus, I found the song. The cassette says 1981 on it. It's really old, and that song is on it. And so you can see if I played it for you, you'll go, yep, that was it. That's where it came from. No one sell Bells of St. Mark. There's a part that goes, that came from my song that I played him. And that's why I was like, I'm not playing you shit. And we went on. I said, I need to talk to you. I said, that's my song. God is my witness. He came into rehearsal one day and I said, Prince, I need to. We rehearsed in the same building. We rehearsed in one part, and then he rehearsed around the corner in a bigger part. So when you walk in the front door at the Power building that he owned for a short while, he walked right past us in front of us to hit the door, then go to his sister. When he came in and said, I need to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. We go outside. He jumps up on the front of his car and he goes, what? I said, that's my song, man. That part is from my song. And he said to me, he was like normal. He was like, fine. He was like, he said, oh yeah, just play it for me. If it's yours, it's not a thing. And me, that offended me.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It offended me that he said, just play me the song. And it's like, honest to God.
Wow. Webb said he got it from Dwayne Tudall's Purple Rain Sessions book.
Huh?
He got it from Dwayne Tudall's book.
Yeah, I wonder how he knows that film. Nobody knows that.
Well,
nobody knows. Like the first album, I'm on the first printing of Sheila's album as a writer, and I'm not on the second pressing. I'm also on a writer on the first pressing of a Strawberry Straw Cake. But go look at the first pressing, look at the second. I'm not on the second pressing. He took my name off. I was also a producer on Ice Cream Castle, produced by Morris Day, Jesse Johnson, and Morris Day, Jesse Johnson, and Jamie Starr, which is Prince.
Webb said that it's a quote from Susan Rogers that was in the Dwayne Tudall's book. So Susan
about me with the bell. Oh, she would know. She was there for a lot of things. She was there firsthand for a lot of things that went down. She was there for a lot of things. Like when I got ready to go on that press tour, and I ran up and I stopped over at Sunset Sound, and I hadn't seen Prince since I quit and left and went on my own, because the night of the premiere, I couldn't tell Prince that I was quitting, because Prince could be petty on your ass, and he would just, he would have took me at a little bit I am in the movie. he would have taken you out. And so I couldn't tell him that till that shit was done.
Right.
And so, and I told him, I said, he called me and he said, Jesse, I want you to ride out with me tomorrow. And I said, I'm not going. And he said, what are you talking about? Stop playing. I said, I'm not going. And he's like, you need to, he said, man, this is the movie premiere. I said, I know, I'm not going though. I'm not going. And I really wasn't going. And I was done. Did that big, giant, beautiful movie and got absolutely no money for it. But I didn't say anything at the time because I'm like, at least I wrote, co-wrote some of the biggest shit in that movie. So I was like, cool. Quiet as it's kept. I think I realized some of the things that Prince must have gave me is when my catalog, I hadn't dropped new records, but my catalog was going, you have 2 new entries, you have 3 new entries, you have 4 new entries and shit like that. And what was happening is that Prince had gave me some songs. Is that nuts or what?
Wow.
No, he did. He gave me some songs that I was like, why are these in my catalog? And they were new entries that were, I forget what it's called, but they were moved over to your catalog for ownership. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Were they released or unreleased?
No, they're songs that people know. They're songs that people know. Like they definitely fucking know them. They're 2 of them are album cuts. 2 of them are B cuts or B sides that people know though.
Wow.
Was Lady Cat? I'm not gonna say no names because then people won't listen to the song anymore. Because I hate him. Jesus, what did I do? Nothing. What did I do? Nothing. Hey, so no stuff is. I'm just looking forward to us really touring, and even with the things that I'm doing with my new record, I really had dreams. I talked to Jimmy about it. And I really had a dream of having a tour next year. It would be great to have a tour next year that's everybody stops, so everybody parks, go back, cancel, quit, derace, dismantle everything, put together a real fucking original time show, the real deal. Like, put some fucking work, retool it, restructure it. And the same thing for me, and we'd be on the same bill together.
And stop playing the same songs over and over and over and over and over again. Love Jungle Love, love The Bird, love The Walk, love 777-9311. But there are so many songs by the time that I would love.
That's why I say retool, because the people out there asking me would I ever play in the time, and I'm like, yeah, if it's right, I'm in. I don't, man. I don't dig raggedy. I really don't. I'm like, I'm not saying they're raggedy or anything like that, but I'm just saying if the original comes together, make that shit an event. Don't just everybody original, then play everything the way you've been, the way it's been played. Yeah. No, hit them with something. That's why when they get ready to go on television, I go, what are we doing? They'll call me and go, they want us to play on XYZ. And this is how it truly honestly goes. And people can kiss my ass because they ain't me. And I ain't doing just anything. Because being on TV, you can be on TV just getting arrested, still isn't good TV for you. It's not, so whatever you're doing exposure-wise, just make it something cool and something, no, really, seriously, make it something cool and all that shit. But, dude would, so that's the only way I would ever do a run with it. Something new, something fresh. So it goes like this. I haven't spoken to anybody. I haven't spoken to people in years. And next thing you know, I go, hey, Jesse, I want to talk to you, man. They want us to do this. And I said, and I'm quiet. I'm hearing people out. I'm not cutting anybody off. I'm letting people get out what they need to. Then I go, so what songs are they thinking? I said, let me guess. Blah, 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 blah. And I swear to God, I can't. Y'all already played that shit to death. And here it is. I wrote the songs and I can't listen to it anymore.
Right.
So all that stuff from Condensate and Pandemonium that have been untouched live.
But I kid you not, it would have to be a different face. You'd have to approach it with a different. You can't. approach it the way you've been doing it for so many years, from 1995 to now. I'm not saying that anybody's doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that right now, today, if the original come in, make it go up some notches. Take it up 5 stairs, 12 stairs, but it's got to go. It's got to elevate. It's got to be like, what? Oh my, what the? It has to be, because I swear to God, when certain people that you bought their records, at least me, I bought their records for this, that, and the other, and then they drop a new record and you just feel like, please be, and it isn't. And you just, you know, it's not good. And I don't like buying, you know, I know people buy a lot of people's records because they just don't buy it because they're a fan of what they're doing. It's a collector event. I don't do that. If I dig something, only one person who I buy anything I see on him, it doesn't matter. It can be a bootleg that this like this, he just fell down the stairs. I'm buying it and check it out later, and we'll keep it. And that's Jimi Hendrix, the only person I've ever done that with.
That makes sense.
Anything he does, it just because I've never seen a person that can play, just be fucking around and you'll hear something go, damn, how did he do that?
Magic.
Just there's such brilliance and what he does. And that's why I think even myself, I play guitar all the time, but it's not practicing. I'm like almost just hearing songs and writing and recording parts into an iPhone and things like that. But I love the fact that this dude, like I always tell people, I can go to a show, see the worst guitar player you ever seen, but I guarantee you before I leave out of there, I've learned something. I've stole something from that guitar player that he did that I don't do. I've never, ever seen a guitar player, no matter what the skill set or level, I always learned something.
Yeah. It's always fantastic.
So,
we have any leftover questions? I mean, there's so many. How many unreleased songs you got with D'Angelo? Now, I bet there's a bunch.
No, but beautifully speaking, he's got, oh my God, he's got a catalog that you would, he's got a catalog to die for. And I'm not even, I'm talking about Brand. There's a song that is recorded and written for Lauryn Hill to sing, was supposed to sing it, and she never did for some reason. Let me tell you, D got stuff that's so amazing, man. He had me, he won one day we're at Henson, and he allowed me to, I said, can I go through your songs and listen to everything? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I said, can I go through your songs and listen to something? And he said, yeah. And he was upstairs at Henson watching the basketball playoffs, and I'm downstairs in Henson, just me and an engineer, and I'm like, I'm playing track after, and it's just like, y'all think I'm talking about like 2 or 3, we're talking like 30, 40 tracks, almost 40 tracks, just fire, just Jesus. Oh my, I'm not kidding you, just straight ridiculous. And so he already has that stuff. It doesn't have, I played on a lot of his stuff that never, the version that I played on came out. His last record got mixed without him knowing. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm playing on, that version didn't come out, but it's like I'm playing all over still on some of the stuff that came out, but I'm playing a lot of his stuff. It's just, due to other circumstances.
What do you mean it was mixed without him knowing?
We were on tour and they mixed it and just put it out, and some of the songs were not, completed, or they definitely wasn't the mix that D himself wanted. So they mixed it and put it out because they wanted it out. So it's like something. So there's certain things happen with a label.
I just want to hear the follow-up to Black Messiah. I'm sorry.
I know.
Got to figure out where when you hear Black Messiah, it's like, okay, where do you go from here?
Well, that's what I was always trying to push D. Just any direction. We call it. He'll tell you what I call it. I call it walking the plank. And a lot of people are scared to walk the plank. They might do one song like that. They might do a song that's sort of this and that. It's like Bare My Naked Soul has no keyboards and nothing other than an actual piano and a B3 organ on one song. That's it. But other than that, the whole album is guitar, bass, and drums, vocal. That's what we call walking the plank. You either dabble your toe over and have a so-called new wave song, and then the rest is whatever. Or that kind of thing. I don't believe in that. Just like I don't believe in a uniform. I believe what you wear on stage and what you wear off should be the same clothes, because they should be you. It shouldn't be a uniform. If you get to a uniform, then that's not where you want to be. You just want to it to be your clothes. This is your thing. This is your style.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Wow.
Shout out to John Wesley Payne, who just did a shout out to Kendra Foster, who I love dearly. And I was super surprised because when you did the show in Atlanta, I don't remember what happened, but she showed up in the middle of the show and Kendra was singing with you in Atlanta. And I was just like, oh my God. I love that girl. Kendra Foster.
Which band? With D'Angelo's band?
No, with your trio that you did in Atlanta. She just randomly showed up and had a mic.
You mean that wasn't Kendra Foster?
Kendra Foster.
I didn't know her then.
Oh, you didn't know her then? Yeah, I
hadn't met her yet. That was a girl named that's been on other albums of mine named Kim K. That's who that was. It's my daughter. I remember that night because it was my daughter was there.
I could have sworn that was Kendra. I never had a chance to meet her other than at the George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic show.
Yeah, it was probably the big bushy hair they both had, and yeah, you're right. And light skin, yeah. Now that I look back, I can easily see you getting.
And Kendra's solo album is amazing too. If you've ever heard that, it's pretty.
Oh fantastic. No, I haven't. No, Kendra's talented writer.
And you've had some pretty amazing background vocalists between Kim Cage and Sue Ann Carwell, and just get into the laundry list. And now you've got this new girl that I'm really enticed in hearing. But what'd you say?
She's actually pretty, Mary Harris. She's out of she's been with a lot. She's performed with quite a few people.
Man,
look her name up, Fishbone. Just a lot of people, man. I'm like,
wow.
If she was in Fishbone, I've probably seen him. I've seen Fishbone so many times. It's ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Oh my God!
Where? You're in LA or Atlanta?
Atlanta. Yeah, they come through Atlanta quite a bit.
Through a lot.
Yeah, it's I think the last time I saw them was playing in George Clinton's final tour. That was 3 tours ago.
So, have you considered?
You guys ever seen the D'Angelo movie called Devil's Pie?
I just saw it advertised on something that I was watching online, and I did not know it existed. So I've not seen it, but I want to see it now that I know it exists.
Just curious. You haven't seen it either because it's not out here. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
the advertisement looked fantastic, and I was like, I don't know where.
Oh, the Europe where it came out in Holland and all that, they went crazy over it. I mean, they really truly went bananas over it. They loved it. People were crying and everything. It was crazy.
Man. Jesse, you said you were only going to hang out for an hour, and it's been close to 2 hours and 45 minutes now. And I just want to say thank you so much.
I have no sense of time.
I don't either when we do these shows.
No, I swear to God, I don't. Even that's why they have to put a big clock on stage. You have to look down there and go, oh. Because I have no sense. It's like you time travel by just being. You can be still and be somewhere else.
Right.
And I'm always doing that.
Well, I'm glad you had such a good time that you weren't like looking for the door the whole time.
Right, staring at you like, "Oh, I gotta go."
And as you see, I wore a pink suit for you.
I saw that just now because I was never near my phone. I saw it. Looking good, man. Looking good. Hey, I know this isn't your show. I mean, I know this isn't a theme on your show, but you guys, how's Tom Joyner? Y'all know who Tom Joyner is?
Yeah, I know Tom Joyner. Matt, that was one of the last times that show that you did with him years ago. I don't know how long ago that was, but that was fantastic. He's still out and about as far as I know.
Oh, good.
But I know that he had a lot of declining health, and he doesn't really do like a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's what I was. Right. That's what I was just wondering that piece because he was always a good guy to me. I just sometimes when you're got your head in the sand doing this stuff, a lot can pass you by.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it needs to when that shit is going on. It needs to because you got to tell yourself. This, you got to create a perfect delusion to be creative. It's like these days, right now, as we speak right now, with everything just going on political, man, doesn't it have us iffy? And we don't like to be iffy.
That's
Right.
true.
What about
No,
Donnie?
I hate it.
What about Donnie Simpson? Have you heard from? I haven't really seen him much.
Yeah, I saw Donnie not long ago in the I recently saw him with Frankie Beverly retiring. Yeah, Donnie looks good. He good people. I know his mom passed away a year or so ago, and my godmother passed away in
Oh,
22. And it's like, oh my God, it's just like I never understood when people say they felt alone. I get it now though.
well, brother, love it.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to get out and play, man. I just want to not think of anything, just playing. Try to remember the words to a show.
Do you
My
do you have any
This is
plans
my
on
biggest worry.
doing something that may be considered gospel?
I I did a whole gospel album, as a matter of fact, on a gospel male artist. I sure did. It's and there's something like, oh, is it like that? Is it called? What is it called? What is it called? There's a song on the new album called "I Shall Pray." It's not. It's on the third album where I'm not singing anything. It's a really beautiful song. You'll be surprised, to say the least.
Hmm.
Oh,
I mean, it's really some really cool. The word I'm looking for, I'm trying to look for a word, and the word I'm looking for is new. Like, when you like, how Verbal was. Verbal was pretty, I thought, was put together really nice, and it was a very, a drastic departure. But wait till you hear this new stuff. You won't. It's not
I'm
predictable.
so excited.
I'm really funny about predictable. And so what I got to figure out is when they put together the infomercial, how to cut the song in and cut the song out without. And I think I'm gonna do that old thing. Remember the DJs used to do that? Mix would be playing in your car, and then the guy would come on. All right, I
That's
think that's.
like
I
really
think
loud.
this. No. So he was like, "Yeah,
I'm
you
talking
bet
to
you
myself.
ain't."
You're listening to him.
You ain't. It's like you exactly. It's like always this song used to come on. It's called Frank Sugar. It's one of the records out of New York, but the guy's talking about boom doom 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 boom doom doom doom, and then the guy comes in, Frank Sugar. Whoever that is,
Or
but it's
Jeff.
like
I'm Casey
badass.
Kasem.
Oh yeah, Casey Kasem.
I'm Casey Kasem, and you're listening to that next song with Jesse
Oh
Johnson.
God. Well, that was the other thing we were talking about the other night about always on Johnny Carson when it was Johnny Carson, and he
Right.
just happened to be on a break, but Jay Leno, I think, was the host, and so the guys that were on there all behind the scenes at Carson, they had been there since the shit was new. So they were like standing in front of me and Morris, and this guy he's like 1,000 years old, and he's mad. He's really pissed, and he's like holding up this clipboard, and he's looking at me, and Morris is standing there looking at him, going, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden, then the guy goes, "We got to do a run through of it. One take one, jerk off." They kept calling it jerk off, and so Morris and I are looking at each other, going, Morris ain't got no sense. This mother, Morris like, this motherfucker calling shit jerk off, man. Shit ain't no fucking jerk. And I'm like, I'm trying not to laugh and shit. So we mess up, or they miss something when they got to do it again. Take two, and so it was up to take 8, jerk off. And he just kept saying that. And it was like, and he was so angry. And the guy hated his job that day. And I was like, but yeah, we were on TV filming that, just trying not to laugh all the time. It was just like,
I can see this old curmudgeon man going, "Take 2,
Jerk off.
he was like rail thin, had a gray suit on, white shirt, and his hair was stone white. But it was just his arms would fold so hard, and then he'd unfold them with this clip pad, and he'd write down, take 1, jerk off. And he was so pissed saying, and then we found out the reason he was standing in front of us, because he was there to listen to the words that Morris was saying, because they really thought back in the back where they were listening, they thought we were saying jerk off. So they had to stand in front of Morrison, hear the words, and he had to like he was looking at the clipboard and then looking at him and look, because he was going over the lyrics to see if he wasn't saying something, going against the whatever it's called.
Right, censoring and all
Yeah,
that.
like they did with the Doors.
Right.
Shit, like they should have did with that titty thing, but that shit, they act like that was like somebody showing something. No, it's more than that. And at that time, even when they freaked out, there's much more than that on
That was
standard
all
television.
bullshit. That was all bullshit.
It stands like on standard television. They're trying to act like, but yeah. But no,
I'm sorry, but that was such, because first off, we're talking about the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake thing.
Yeah.
First off, when they've shown all types of angles on it, Janet is wearing some type of star jewelry or something on her nipple.
Right.
So it's like, why would you have that underneath your?
She's wearing a pasty.
Well, and why would you do that if you were going to be, but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing too. But it was like some kind of silver star thing. Here's the other thing, is that when Justin did it, the line of the song was, "You had me naked" by the end of the song, and that's when he did it. So it was like,
right.
It seemed like it was just the timing of it. It just seemed like this didn't go as they planned, and so they made it look like an accident type of scenario. I just think it got.
No, I think it was all choreographed out, but it wasn't a big deal that they made it out to be.
Right.
They blew it way out of proportion, and
yeah.
And if you go look at television at that time, there was worse than that on CSI.
Oh yeah,
right.
Sure.
Especially the one from Miami.
Yeah,
man.
I'm like, there was more. It's just like when we couldn't go into Prince the Time, Vanity Six couldn't go into Ohio because they had they had like before time they had a block on us.
What?
They had a block on us. We couldn't go into Ohio. Prince couldn't play Ohio
because
he had to go meet with his manager, him and his manager to go meet with Jesse Jackson. I forget who else, but then we could go in Ohio after that. It was just funny. All over, the Dirty Mind record. All over the Dirty Mind record.
Yeah.
It wasn't allowed. And then when you listen to that record now, that record says no cuss words in it. Maybe hell or dams every now and then, but they make it sound like, compared to what records are saying now.
I know.
It's only Sister. The song Sister is only.
Sister, Jack You Off. Not Jack You Off. Sister, Head. There was a lot of stuff on there that people could.
I know, but there's still no cuss words, though.
In Sister, there is.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's it. Sister's the only cuss word of that whole album.
What does he say on there?
When he shouts, "Oh, motherfucker, Jesus."
Oh yeah. Oh, motherfucker.
That's it.
That's on the Dirty Mind record?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that song.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, they kind of came at everybody for that. It just was hilarious to me though, because it's like, why are we going on those Ohio dates? Oh yeah, we were banned from Ohio. I was like, you sure you're not banned? We probably are not banned. No, we're all banned. I'm like, let me see the paper.
The Midwest boys are banned from the Midwest.
I know. I'm like, are you sure? How are we banned? But we all got banned there because I got charged with inciting a riot. Oh,
that's right. Yeah, I saw it on your Bare My Naked Soul album. Inciting a riot.
And that was because they were hitting on kids. That just took me out. They were hitting on kids.
What do you mean they were hitting on kids?
They were, pushing on kids with those sticks and all that. And I was like, and why did I have to say it in the mic? Because I was like, I was in court. I was like, I didn't say that. And they go play the tape back. It goes, fuck the police. It's like, oh man, I'm in trouble. No, it was what is that shit? When you got to go and get your bail hearing, but I never seen it was a black dude too, and I've never seen this. He was black. He was so angry. I was like, did I know his daughter or something? I was swear to God, I'd never seen nobody that mad at you and they didn't know you. It was crazy. You're in Ohio and it's just like a movie, and they're like, and you go in there and you're all calm and normal and stuff, and the guy goes, da da da, case number, Blunnick. And you're just kind of half asleep, turn your head slow, and you're looking at the prosecutor, and he looks like Marvin Hagler, and all you can think is that dude looks like just like Marvin Hagler. What the fuck? Then all of a sudden he starts, Your Honor, he's like, fuck the police and this, that, and this. And I'm looking at this dude, never been in court like that, so I don't know I'm not supposed to talk. And I'm like, that's bullshit. The lawyer's going, what are you, dude, what are you doing? I said, man, this motherfucker is locked. And I'm doing all of that shit. And he's like, shh, don't say another word. Don't say. I'm like, man, and I'm still talking shit to me stuff. Don't say another word. I'm like, man, you need to talk to this motherfucker over here because he really tripping. And he was like, oh my God.
It's about to fight.
It was crazy. And so the attorney, my manager for many years, Ron Soskin, was also an attorney. He was my attorney for many years, but he wasn't that type of attorney. So he talked to an attorney in Ohio, and that shit was scary because Cincinnati sits right on the borderline of fucking Virginia, where it really gets some kind of shit going on. You gotta be a little keep your head on the swivel around them ways and all that shit. Anyway, they call that shit in, man, and he was like, but I was like, I just never seen anybody talk about you like that. You can't say anything.
Yeah, that's when you become the worst
saying.
offender.
I'm like. I didn't. I was just really green. I didn't know any of that, and I was like, "Man, this motherfucker." It's like the judge was like, he was like, "Did you just say?" I said, "Man, he's lying. He's lying." He said, "You really need to listen to your attorney." I said, "I don't even know this attorney." Then I hear my manager go, "That's a family member." I go, "Oh, okay." I still don't know him, though. Is what I mumbled. You know, black kids will do that. When they're little, when you tell them to do something in school, anybody black online will tell you, black kids when they're little, people like, you need to go in there and sit down right in that chair like that, and the kid will be going over to do it. But you bet you can best believe he gonna mumble, you ain't none of my real mama. You ain't none of my real mama. Because I do that shit all the time at the Grammys backstage. Hey, you got to come this way. I want everybody to come this way. We're going to take it. And I'll be like, you ain't none of my real daddy.
I still do it. I still do it.
Can y'all hear that guitar by any chance?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear that, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's my shit. I'm crazy. Yeah.
A little My Life.
That's a time song. It's Skillet, I think.
Yeah, Skillet. In the Skillet. Yeah.
Man, I can't. If listeners are even like, oh, we know that one.
And that other one, what's the other one? Oh.
In that sober box. Blondie.
Yep.
Man.
That's what it does. Yeah.
Man. And that is the stuff that needs, if the time gets cut back, that's the stuff.
Yep. 100%. That's the stuff they should be playing.
Yeah, but at that tempo though. where it's funky.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But man, I wish
Absolutely.
that Morrison, that wish I could hear that cat on drums, man. He dope. He really is the truth.
Mm.
He's on a bunch of Prince songs too. That's him on International Lover. That's him on the long version of Less Work. He's on the long version of Controversy. He's on a lot of that stuff. He just never got credited for it.
Which is
But
crazy.
he's right on that. He's on that elitist. He's up on that elite drum list. Because he's dope for real. It ain't that oh, I wish I, he actually is. That's him on all of them records, man. He actually wrote Party Up too.
Yeah.
He wrote
Yeah, we know
that
that story.
music. He did write that music, and you hear his version is slower, but it's funky as hell though. That's why I understood why Prince heard that shit the next day and was like, "Man, I gotta have this."
Mm.
True or false? Raspberry Beret.
Mhm.
Is that you that he's mentioning? Old Johnson's Farm?
Yeah, he had a bitch. I'm like, dude, you're older than me. Fuck you. But no, he called me and he said, I mentioned you on a song today. I was like, oh my God, I can only hear that. I said, what is it, a horror song? What's the name of it? Go fuck yourself? I was saying all that shit. And he goes, no, it's a really nice song. And I'm like, well, how did you? And then, hey Siri, turn on the TV light. He said, he just said he mentioned my son. So the song, the record arrived to my house, and I was out in a city called Blaine. And where he knows where I live and how, I have no idea, not a clue, but he always did. Anyway, I played a song and I go, oh, that's really a pretty song. And I'm listening to the stereo system upstairs, and I'm pretty song. And then I heard the Down by Old Man, because that's what they were kept hearing. He was like, man, I heard Jesse bought a farm and moved up and he's got cows and pigs, and none of that shit was true. And I did not buy a farm. It had a well. I had my own well. I didn't have a farm though. I did have like 2.5 wooded, acres. It was beautiful on the house setting, and it was really beautiful. But I didn't have any animals. I just had a well. I had my own water. That was
Oh,
but
man.
it's like, man, I heard Jesse moved to a farm and
Here's a little story about it.
he got some pigs, and he's got pigs and horses and all of this shit that I was saying. And so when they saw me, he said, man, I heard you got a whole. I said, no, I don't have no damn farm. Are you kidding me? I can barely take care of myself. How am I have a whole bunch of animals for? But
Old Man Johnson.
yeah, he did say I mentioned you in a song, and then that was at my front door. And I'm like, okay. I thought it was funny. It was I never mentioned it before. How did y'all know about that? For real?
I think I heard you side mention it on Questlove's show. So I was like, I got to make sure. I got to verify.
Yeah, crazy.
1 o'clock, or not 1 o'clock.
11.
The first. No, I'm not talking about the time. I was, no pun intended. The first is when Jesse Johnson's new stuff. We're not going to know what format or what's going to be happening, but he's hoping to have it come out around that time. And then hopefully before that, we'll get the opportunity to be able to pre-order some of this stuff, because I am excited. 15 years is too long, Jesse.
That's right.
It's too friggin' long. So I want to see it. And what is the audiobook coming out with those? Is the audiobook coming along with those albums, or is this going to be something totally separate that's going to be much later?
Oh, it's later. It's definitely later. After that stuff ends, it's definitely later.
And I think when we were talking on the phone the other night, you said there's not going to be an actual book with it. It would only be an audiobook. So,
No, it'll probably get printed later, but I think out the gate, I think it, I'm like, why? I just don't understand how you would want something to read to you as opposed to you to them. Because that's what I always loved about the Miles Davis book, is that forget the guy that wrote it, but he wrote the Marvin Gaye book and a few things. But the way he did Miles Davis's book, he recorded Miles Davis, and then he wrote the book the exact way Miles speaks. And it was and if you know how Miles speaks, the book was written exactly like that. I thought that was such a great idea, so cool. So I think if you hear me tell the stories and it's me telling the stories as opposed to somebody else, and then I hope that when I have to grab somebody else that was in the room at the same time when so and so said thing went down, then hopefully I'll have people like that on the phone as well.
Now you did drip out a couple of songs on your Instagram account like a long time ago. It was a song called "If You Want Love." That was about like 8 months ago. Is that going to be one of the songs that may come out?
Yeah, but it's totally rewritten. It's a totally different song. I could have played it for you had I not shut the studio down. But it's
No,
a
that's
whole
right.
new. It's really gorgeous though. But yeah,
What
it's
about
different.
"Choke from Her Smoke"?
I think that might be like a free bonus cut.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Right.
might be
I'll
a
take
free
it anyway.
bonus.
No
Bonus cut.
problem.
But everything has to be mastered. And you guys asked me, excuse me, something earlier, and I didn't answer. And that was you asked me about Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos working with Dweezil. My site when it comes up is going to be a subscriber, a monthly subscriber, but it's going to be something really inexpensive, like like $2 or something a month, $2.50, something like that. I can't remember, but it's somewhere in there. But you'll have because I'll start doing my own recordings and all that stuff, and people will ask me about this song and that song, because that's how the album is such an on-taking, because the album, the credits are all electronic as well as the files are, because you can't make a CD because you're dithering it down to garbage. And I would think if you're spending your hard-earned money, you would want to hear everything as gloriously in your ears as you possibly could. And so that's you want to hear it in those files, because I'm telling you, when you can hear the room, when you can hear the person breathing, when you do all that, it makes a huge difference when you get a chance to hear the song the way the song was intended to be heard, is a major thing. And so even myself purposely, Sue Ann album, my album, verbal record, that is, I can't listen to those records on CD because they sound terrible to me. They sound horrible to me. They sound like they didn't, people in the band and stuff, not people in production, didn't think my ears were that sensitive. So they would play files like behind me live. I'll have some stems playing, like I might have keyboards or something playing that we're playing along with. And so they'll dither them from 2496, they'll dither them down to 48. But they think I don't know, I can't hear that compression. So they would try all these different files and go, "What is this?" And I go, "Play it." And I for 48. And they go, "What is this?" And I go, and they'll play this and play that. And I'll go, 96. You can hear the difference because it's on the top end. It's very open. It's very open. It's like you're in, and the way these records are going to be mixed is going to be like a great rough mix, but it's going to have some ambience here and there. I record the way I've always recorded my records, with no effects. Just have it where everything's beautiful. And then when you get ready to mix, you only have to enhance. You're not fixing.
Right.
Because you get these physics with putting a mic on an amplifier, moving it over here, moving it this way. The same thing with a bass. And so I come from tape. I don't come from digital. So the sound that I'm trying to get is tape and beyond. As I was discussed with D'Angelo many times, that tape, 2-inch tape doesn't have the ability to produce the frequencies that are in music now. It just won't do it. I don't know why, but digital tape isn't digital. It's waves, so it's all music. But digital is numbers, and so you have to. If you come from tape, you can always get that sound on tape because that's what you know. And so you're going to strive and do whatever front end, piece of gear, analog gear you may have used to get that sound, because that is the sound you know. It's the sound you come from.
So how are you going to release this new music? I mean, if CD is going to compress it to a point where it's unlistenable.
I'm not. First of all, the average car doesn't even have a CD in it. I remember this girl, she's a bass player from Europe, and she wanted to hear some demos. And I sent her to New York, and a day went by, a week went by, and I called her. I said, "Did you hear the song?" Yeah. And she goes, honestly, I don't even have a way to play them. And it dawned on me, that shit isn't on MacBook Pros and stuff anymore. And so it's not even in cars either. So the way you listen to the music now, the way you listen to music now is mostly people listen to it from their phone that streams right to their car. Yay? No? Yes? No?
Yep. That's
Yep.
exactly
Or
right.
that home pod thing, the mini or the regular, they're using that as well, and so forth and so on. So you have to use it in a realm where you're gonna appreciate the you'll see how it's going to be downloaded that way. I mean, everything has to
Right.
be downloaded, from the visuals to you name it, the covers, and everything is done in high definition. Like the PDF files isn't a regular PDF file. And the way this album has been done, because we're living in these kids want to know the shit they want to know. They want to know, how did you do this? How did you do this? So each song it'll be a color thing of each song going, use this pedal, here's a setting, use this guitar, here's a setting, use this amp, use this plugin. It'll be like that. So people don't have to wonder and ask me later.
It's the ultimate liner notes.
Yeah, man.
And
Because
the site is to answer your question, the site is where the Atmos should be, because Atmos is a thing you can't monetize. You can't monetize it. Like you can't.
Correct.
I can't sell you. I can't hand you from my hand to your hand an Atmos mix, because there is no such thing as that. The files having those files like that. There's no place to play it, and they only play right now. They only play through Apple's hardware. Their AirPod Pros and their AirPod Maxes. Or if you got an Atmos system, it'll play that, no problem. But for the most part, you can't. The biggest problem is that you can't monetize it. So we're looking into have my site. When you go to my site, you can listen to those records that you paid for the monthly fee to listen to them. You can listen to them in Atmos. That's where we're gonna put it. So the subscriber sites will be in Atmos, and I'll try to do, if I do because of whatever podcasts or files I create, they're only for that inside of that site. They're inside of that website, because people keep asking me about, how did I play this? How did I play that on guitar? And then I can just show them have my own setup for that.
that's right. You did say that you were tinkering with the idea of a subscription model on your site. Remember when we were talking? I hope that's not top secret.
No, it's going to be, but it's just not going to be something that breaks you, though. It's really real inexpensive. And at the same time, I don't know how I'm going to pull. I guess I'll have to have someone edit content I've created, but I won't have time to do it all.
Right, of course.
I'm so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't. Oh, you know what? Before you go, Jesse,
yes.
would you possibly consider doing a bumper where you just simply say something like, "This is Jesse Johnson, and you're listening to Funkatopia," or something that we could play as a bumper?
Just send write what you just wrote, text it to me, and I'll do it tonight or tomorrow. Get it to
perfect. Great. Even better. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the legend, Jesse Johnson. Yes. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Has been an absolute dream come true. Again, been a fan forever, for decades, and so honored to have you on the show. And thank you for dropping so many gems and man, so many stories. And I look forward to it. And I look forward to having you back on the show when this album gets released, and so we can talk about it and get people on there and really help you do your marketing push. My resources are your resources, brother, for sure.
They're here.
Oh, cool.
We're here for you, man. We're gonna make it happen.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a big round of applause. Jesse Johnson.
I got to give it to you. Here you go.
There you go.
Get it all.
That was in 24K.
He could tell.
Man, oh man. All right. So he was originally going to hang out for an hour. 3 hours later, over 3 hours later, we're still here. We did have a couple of news bits to talk about. Jeff, if you want to jump, you can, but I want to go through them real quick because one of them is happening this weekend.
That's true.
So I kind of need to, this is going to be our last opportunity to be able to talk about it. I hope you guys did enjoy the show. Please support Funkatopia. you can put up the support scroll or whatever, because it takes a lot to put these shows together. And just so we're clear, I want to be real. I want to be clear with you guys, because a lot of people were like, man, don't you guys, do any kind of preparation for your interview? Yes, all kinds of preparation for the interview. I want to share this to you. Okay. I'm going to share this, and I think it's important for you guys to see this.
Wait,
because I'm just going to do it real quick. I'm not going to stop or anything, but this is like the document that we had with like all the questions. I had a bunch of images lined up, everything that I was going to talk about, all the questions that I had. This was all the stuff that I had to talk about. So this is just to kind of give you an idea of the prep work that happens behind the scenes. And, I am not in any point going to cut Jesse off. It's just not going to happen.
No, right.
So if he's telling stories, and I've learned this over the interview process, if somebody is feeling comfortable and they're sharing stories and they're having a good time, I just want to just let them go, because interrupting them when they're in a sharing mode is the worst thing you can do. So yes, I did have a ton of stuff. I tried to whittle in questions where it was apropos. I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about the news.
Conversation at that point, and we just let it go wherever it goes.
Right. So I'm going to skip the first one because we need to start.
I think that one's important since we're talking.
But, okay. All right. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Let's get through it because it's late.
Okay. We're going to get through it. All right. So just to kind of let you guys know, the 27th, this coming up Saturday, it is the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain, the movie. I know guys are probably saying it's been the 40th. We did the celebration, blah, blah, blah. The movie was released on July 27th, which is this Saturday, in 1984. So this literally is the 40th anniversary of the release of this movie. And
official. In
response to this, there are not one, but there are two events that are happening at there are two events that are happening as a result. And I want to be, we obviously got to be real clear and cautious about this, that, and the other. But here's the first. This is the one that is ordained by the estate. So the estate is actually having an event at Paisley Park where it's Purple Rain the movie in 4K Ultra HD, and you can go and you can do a walkthrough of Paisley Park, and you can also watch the Purple Rain the movie with a bunch of other fans in Prince's house and recording studio and party place, blah 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 blah, and it's happening this Saturday.
Yes,
and it's a purple carpet event. It's a walkthrough tour and a movie screening, and it starts at 6 p.m. this Saturday. Then they start showing the movie at 7:30, so you got an hour and a half to walk through. They actually have, you can also purchase parking on site. If not, you can park. It's just, all that being said, this is the ordained by the estate movie of Purple Rain. Now, that being said, there's also another event. I always try to feel like I'm walking on eggshells whenever I do this, but which I kind of am, but it's okay. There is another event that is a Purple Rain movie that is happening at the Target Center in downtown Minneapolis. So they're going to be showing the Purple Rain movie in Target Center with, I guess there's going to be multiple screens on the big board or whatever.
Who knows?
And
yeah,
be able to watch it. And there's supposed to be special guests there, and you can actually, and tickets are $19.99 for reserved seats. You can get it at access.com, AXS.com. There's also some VIP tickets that are $199.90, and you get seats on the arena floor, a souvenir, and there's also a post-screening reception. There's supposed to be some special guests that were involved with Purple Rain. They're going to be appearing. I haven't seen any advertisement or anything as far as who those special guests are, but there's supposed to be a bunch of stuff going on, and that's happening in downtown Minneapolis, pretty much across the street, kind of from where First Avenue is. So that is another event that is happening. So you got two different events, but that one is not ordained or approved by the estate. So I don't know how all that works. I don't know how that works. All I know is that The state approved one is happening at Paisley Park, and then there's another one that's happening at Target Center. So you have that. And then the last thing that I will talk about, I know you want to talk about this Snoop Dogg thing. Snoop Dogg carrying the torch at the 2024 Olympics. Is that what's happening?
It's not a.
I kind of mentioned it. So
I just found it interesting. For those of you who don't know, the 2024 Olympics starts on Friday, and Snoop Dogg is the one who's carrying the torch on the final stretch. And I just thought that was like, wow. Okay, he's gonna drop it like it's hot. Drop it.
And the last event that I'll talk about is not one that's happening right around the corner. It's actually happening in August, and that's our good friend Alfonso Starr and Martin Kember. They are doing a Purple Rain cruise, Lux Cruises in Alameda, California. It's a 4-hour tribute to Prince and Purple Rain 40. That's happening on August 3rd. So it's not too far off. It's actually, is that actually before we would go on again? No, it's we could probably announce too, but it's a really, really cool event, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. But there's going to be a lot of music and whatnot. It's a Love Sexy Cruise 2024 is what the title of it is. It's the 6th one and the final installment. I don't know what that means. Final installment of an epic annual Purple event in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I don't know what he means by final installment. I have to get more on that. Is this the last one he's doing?
Wow.
But it says this year's theme will be Purple Rain 40 and a lot of Purple Rain props all over the ship to celebrate the movie and soundtrack. Vocalist Martin Kember will obviously be there. They always seem to be together once again, blessing everyone with his funktastic pipes. And Toya Gaines, which is Rosie Gaines' daughter, will actually join him on a couple of songs. There's going to be a 360 photo booth, raffles, and lots of giveaways to those who dance and whatnot. And so it should be pretty awesome. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And if you want to get tickets to that is actually happening again over in California. And you can get your tickets by scanning that QR code, or just go to eventbrite.com and eventbrite.com and just look for Love Sexy. And you'll find it because it will be there also. But man, let me just tell you what an amazing night. I even got a purple jacket. Shout out to Purple Nerd Channel, because I was on Twitter and Purple Nerd Channel was like, I wonder if Mr. Christopher is going to have a pink suit. I was like, I don't have a pink suit. That pink suit's like long gone. But I was just like, you know what? I wonder if I can get one on Amazon real quick. So I did. Ta-da. So here, it doesn't really completely fit. It probably will in about a month or so, but
well, you can't tell on camera. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do is maybe I'll just hang on to this, and then at the next celebration, I should be able to fit this one fine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, this is a Funkatopia Live. WTF, welcome to Funkatopia. I am Mr. Christopher. This is my co-host, Jeff Page, and we just had the amazing, incredible Jesse Johnson on the show. What an incredible guest. I've loved him for as long as I can remember, and it was an honor having him on the show. Next week, I'm not exactly sure. We might take next week off. I don't know, but probably will. But you never know with us. You never know. For right now, good night. Thank you guys so much for everything. What an amazing night. 3 hours of Jesse Johnson. Over 3 hours. Pretty freaking incredible. Good night, everyone. I hope you had a great time. And we will see you soon. Adios, amigos and amigas. Bye-bye now.